Wait, I hit record, then this button, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to go like this because I have to wait for it to go live. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side Podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown and Reef Bailey, and this is episode 78. In this episode, we will talk about March Madness and give our predictions for the Sweet 16. Then we will talk about all the moves that happened during the trade deadline and give our thoughts on Draymond Green calling himself the best defender of all time. Then we're going to talk about Charles Barkley also saying James Harden is the best offensive player of all time. Well, he called James Harden the best offensive player of all time. And we're going to talk about the MVP race, the Clippers title chances, and to end the basketball portion of the episode, we will then talk about the Atlanta Hawks' recent success. And transitioning to football, we aren't going to talk much football, but we're just going to talk about Deshaun Watson's allegations and who we think the Saints starting quarterback should be, and give a team that we believe would be Super Bowl contenders if they had a different quarterback. This is now episode 78, and we have a special guest, Reef Bailey. We went to high school with him. He played basketball, so he knows what he's talking about. If I'm not mistaken, you did score 1,000 points.
I did not make it there. I was creeping up the walls.
You didn't play your senior year, right?
I didn't play my senior year. Yeah, stopped playing my junior year. So unfortunately, I didn't make it there. But I like to believe that if I continued playing my senior year, I would have reached that
you're
mark.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Where did you finish off at?
I don't know my exact count, to be honest. Kind of stopped paying attention to it. I kind of lost focus when I decided to, go different paths. So I kind of lost mark. So I don't have that answer for you, but maybe I could backtrack and then come back and let y'all know.
All right, so this episode 78, and a lot of stuff happened within the NBA world, a lot of trades today. And I mean, some were very notable, some were not. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about March Madness, how it's been so far, and we're going to predict what we think is going to happen in the Sweet 16. So what do you think was the biggest upset of March Madness so far? I'll start with you, Riv, because you know a lot about college basketball.
I think Virginia. Virginia was the biggest upset just for the simple. Well, I can't even say that because they always show us that an upset is always brewing when you play them. And I think it's honestly hilarious. I think Oregon State making the run that they made, beating Cade last week, well, a couple of days ago, and making the upset. Even going back to the conference tournament, they were projected to be the worst team in the conference, winning the whole thing. And now in the Sweet 16, I think that was a phenomenal thing. So I think definitely giving them the edge. Loyola Chicago doing it again. I know they had a magnificent run a couple years ago, so I think that's something to be talked about. But March Madness, this happens all the time. It's literally just a one game. You can be at your best at any moment, and it's funny because it always happens to great teams. They always collapse. But I think this year is just showing us that we're on a collision course to see Gonzaga and Alabama, and I think that's probably going to be the best game of the year.
That's what I want to see, too.
Yeah, it definitely, this year, though, has been way more than normal.
Oh, yeah.
There have been a lot of upsets. See, I think Oral Roberts, to me, their run, beating Ohio State, then beating Florida. You can talk about Oregon State beating Tennessee, then Oklahoma State. I was rooting for Cade Cunningham to make it farther.
Me too.
I'm not going to lie. He didn't play too well in the second half. When he needed to play well, he didn't play too well. What about you, Reed? What did you think?
To be honest, I'm going to co-sign you with the Oral Roberts over Ohio State. At least that was what was trending, what I seen from social media and the people that I talked to. People seem the most surprised about Ohio State losing that game. But I agree with Riv, man. It's more common than we think. Being in March Madness, you only get one game. So if you're not performing at your best, if you didn't come to play, you're going out. So I expected Ohio State to go a little further, especially coming in the 2 seed. So to see them lose in the first round like that was tough. But shout out to Oral Roberts, man. Shout out to the underdogs.
I think it's interesting too, because a lot of times, say for example, I'm a coach for Kansas, right? And you coach UTEP and you coach Murray State. Yeah. There's not much. We've never seen each other play.
Exactly.
So this is the first time, even though we could watch all the tape in the world, but a powerhouse going up against a mid-major, you really are going to take them lightly because you feel like you're playing down the competition. I think that's what happens to these 2 seeds. I didn't think Ohio State should have been a 2 seed. I thought they were overrated, but at the same time, I feel like when you walk into a game like that, you're going to look at the other team and like, oh, they're not as good as we are. But in a sense, it's just you're a powerhouse. That team is probably just as good, but they don't play the level of competition you play.
I agree.
So you're the college basketball expert here, because I don't watch college basketball like that. I've tried to watch it, but
it's
there's
hard.
just not enough time to watch
I
it.
feel you.
When you're trying to watch NBA, you're trying to watch NFL, like college basketball just seems like you could put it off aside. So I know you bet on it a lot.
I'm the guy who watches college over the NBA and NFL.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
you joked on me one day because I think it was a playoff game on. I was watching like a college basketball game. I was doing something. Joel was like, "Are you really watching college over there?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just what I do."
Do you find it more competitive? Because I've heard that for a lot of reasonings for why people prefer college.
They miss
over.
a lot of shots.
Okay,
like it's just I like the drive of it.
Okay,
I like the scouting.
Okay,
the way coaches have to really game plan. Like I like the stuff like that. Like I feel like NBA is really just who has better talent, but I think college is really the X's and O's, plays, coaches, and all that stuff. So that's what I like.
I mean, that's true. I mean, if it was about talent in college, Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish probably would have won the national championship.
Exactly.
They were in college.
Kentucky would have won that year.
Mm-hmm. But Sweet 16, the matchups are Oregon State versus Loyola Chicago, Villanova versus Baylor, Oral Roberts versus Arkansas, Syracuse versus Houston, Creighton versus Gonzaga, Florida State versus Michigan, UCLA versus Alabama, and Oregon versus USC. So what are your predictions for those games?
You just read me like 10 games. You should have read them all like 1-1. I would say this. I think Gonzaga's going to run the table until they get to the Final Four. I think Alabama's going to have some close games, but I think they're eventually going to see them. I think Butler's going to I'm a believer of Arkansas. Is that what they I'm a believer of Arkansas. Some people say Arkansas.
Yeah. I say it like that.
Yeah.
I used to say that too.
Me too. But I'm a believer of Arkansas. I think they were a top 6 team in the country. I think they just had a couple relapses, but I think they'll make the Final Four. But I think inevitably this is going to be Gonzaga's year. The only teams I see beating them is Baylor because of their backcourt, or Alabama because I think Javon can, duel with Jalen Suggs because Gonzaga is a complete team, and I only thought Oklahoma State was gonna have the point guard that can, outshine Suggs. Yeah. So it's gonna be tough, but I think Baylor and Alabama would be probably my 2 teams that can upset Gonzaga. But I have Gonzaga running the table.
Wow, so you have Alabama going that far? I think they can go that far too, to be honest.
I think I think right now with Texas losing, I think that was because of their bigs. I think that would have made it difficult to them. But with Texas losing, I think that was the only team I really seen giving them fits. Other than that, like Creighton is not that good. I don't think Creighton is that good. Like the next teams coming up on the left side, I don't think are that good. So I think Gonzaga and Alabama are just on a collision course to see each other.
Yeah, I think I got Loyola winning, Baylor, Arkansas, Syracuse, Gonzaga, Florida State, Alabama, and Oregon.
Shout out to Syracuse because that's my team, and we do this every year. So yeah, it's
Buddy
lit.
Boeheim's playing really good.
Ooh.
Yo, it's crazy because we literally sucked like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's
he's looking phenomenal.
Yeah, he's really shooting crazy. So so that's the Sweet 16. So you think Gonzaga's gonna run it up? What are your predictions for it?
Honestly, again, I'm with Riv. Like Gonzaga's just a well-rounded team. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of talent. A sneaky pick for me would be USC.
Okay.
I like what I see from USC. I was watching, their performance in the first 2 rounds, and then also a little bit of their earlier games.
Blew out Kansas. I was like, wow.
Blew out Kansas. Those brothers, the Mobley brothers, talented. A lot of length. They can defend as well. They're a great team, so that's my sleeper pick. And then I've got to ride with Alabama. Got to ride with my dogs.
Of course,
They've been dominant this year. They kind of remind me of like that Houston Rockets team that's fast up the court. Going to put up a lot of shots, going to defend. Relying on fast break points. And I think Javon is that X factor at the 6th man right now. He's looking like his All-American self, McDonald's All-American self. So if they can continue at this pace, with Herbert Jones and JQ leading the way, I'm picking them to kind of run into Zag. But USC is my sleeper for sure. I really like them.
Yeah, and JQ's from this town. He's from Hackensack.
Exactly. Exactly. So I got to ride with him.
That's a good story there too. His come up and how he had to sit out for two seasons. I think he sat out 1.
Well, it was because he didn't play a lot of Villanova. And then he had to sit out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since people have seen him play at this level. So he's playing at a really high level. Yeah. But that's going to do it for March Madness talk. Now we're going to talk about the NBA trade deadline. A lot of moves happened, and one thing didn't happen. Kyle Lowry did not get traded. We'll talk about that a little later. But first, I'm going to read off like the moves that aren't so notable. So it gives us time to talk about the notable ones.
Okay.
The Pistons traded DeLon Wright to the Kings for Corey Joseph and 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, DeLon Wright not bad, though.
The
I like
Nuggets,
Corey Joseph.
The Nuggets acquired JaVale McGee for Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 second-round picks.
Great pickup.
The Bulls acquired Troy Brown and Mo Wagner for Daniel Gafford and Chandler
notable?
Hutchinson.
Okay.
It isn't really notable. It really isn't. The Heat acquired Bjelica for Mo Harkless and Chris Silva. Matt Thomas got traded to Utah. They have another sharpshooter.
Yep.
Okay.
Marquise Chris to the Spurs. Terrence Davis to Sacramento. It still boggles my mind how he made rookie team over RJ Barrett. And he's traded. Hornets acquired Brad Wanamaker. And now here's where we get into the notable moves. Rajon Rondo traded to the Clippers for Lou Will. What are your thoughts on that? Lou Will is in Atlanta, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, Lou was just talking about how if he gets traded, he's out of here. Like, he's retiring.
Yeah.
So that's funny. No, I was just watching this video of Terrence Mann talking about, the stuff Lou brought to the table, leadership, that older brother role. And I think that's going to hurt them. But at the same time, Rondo has been horrible this year. I think we can all admit that. He hasn't been playing good.
Yeah.
But I think come playoff time, Rondo's one of those guys that can just turn it up when it's the playoffs, and I think that's going to benefit the Clippers. I didn't really think they needed a point guard. They're one of the most efficient teams in the NBA right now. They're on an all-time breaking record for, Clippers history. Yeah. But, Rondo, he plays defense. Lou Will was kind of, he didn't play D, and Lou Will's a better offensive player, but they were both struggling regardless. So I think this is a kind of be an even trade depending on how the playoffs go. I think bringing in a guy who has rings, who has that playoff, that – what's the word I'm looking for? Playoff experience.
Mentality.
Yeah, mentality too. Thank you. Just bringing that type of guy in, I think it's going to help the Clippers. Guys like Terrence Mann, Markieff Morris, even guys like Paul George who gets in his head at own time. I think Rondo can kind of like offset that and tell him like, yo, you're going to be good. So I think it's going to be a good move emotionally, but I think losing Lou Will, who's a guy who's part of that grit and grind Clippers era, who's a guy who's their leader for them bad teams, the team that made the AFC and gave the Warriors fits, I think that's going to be tough. But I think it could offset depending on what type of Rondo you get.
Yeah, I kind of felt indifferent, to be honest with you guys. Like, I didn't think it was that drastic of a trade. I don't think it makes them, like, automatic title contenders. Like Reef said, I think it's kind of an equal exchange. They were both kind of playing terrible this year. I know Lou Will was kind of on the fence and wanted to get out early anyway, so that works out for him, and he'll be in his hometown of Atlanta. But I think that they did need a point guard. I wanted more of a point guard like Alonzo Ball, somebody who fitted more easily into what they had, and he could kind of push the tempo, knock down shots, stuff like that, defend, perimeter defense. But I just don't know how that's going to work now with Beverly there, Reggie Jackson. I wonder how they're going to figure that out. Or is Rondo going to be starting? Is he going to be coming off the bench for Beverly? So I just want to know. I don't think they got that much better. I think they got, a floor general, somebody who is battle-tested, somebody who has championship experience, and somebody who could bring leadership to their locker room. I know they talked about that a lot with the Clippers, like that kind of lack of leadership, a floor general, a coach on the floor. So I think Rondo gives them that. But I don't think it's that big of I don't think it's like a blockbuster trade or anything like that. I think it's an equal exchange pretty much.
For me, I think the Clippers needed a point guard, and they got one. Lou Will, he was a part of that Clippers era, but that Clippers era is over. Shea is not there. Gallinari's not there. Montrezl Harrell is not there.
They're all gone now.
Yeah, everybody is gone.
Even Doc.
Yes,
even Doc. Yeah.
So that era is completely done with. I think Lou Will, he's just too much of a liability on defense. Like Rondo gives them a good defender and a good point guard because Pat Bev, he's good. Like he's good for his role.
Let me ask you a question though. If you got Rondo, right?
Yeah.
But Lou Will was in that starting five, to close the game. But would you put Rondo ahead of Pat Bev to start to close the lineup in the clutch?
It depends on how they're playing.
Yeah.
But I would. If they're both playing kind of similarly, I would.
Because Pat Bev could knock the 3-ball down.
Rondo's showing he can knock that 3 down
in
as
the
well.
bubble, he shot 40%.
Yeah, I said playoff Rondo is. Yeah. But is he gonna get to that? That's the thing.
I mean, every year when he's in the playoff, he gets to that.
That's
Chicago is about to upset Boston with him until he got hurt. So I believe in playoff Rondo. I think this is exactly what they needed. But on to the next move. your Chicago Bulls acquired
Mm.
Nikola Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu for Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks. And I want to say this first. Where's Mo Bamba? Why did they get Wendell Carter Jr. when you still have Mo Bamba on the team? I tweeted this. I said, I think Mo Bamba's career fell off around the same time Shaq West's career fell off. Like, it is pretty crazy because I thought Mo Bamba, he was never a bad shooter. In college, he showed he can shoot.
Yeah.
He always looked like he had potential.
He had the tools.
Yeah.
You know, if you give Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba the same amount of minutes, I'm not sure that Wendell Carter does better. That's just my opinion. I don't think Wendell Carter is that good of a player. And for him to be the feature and headline player of this trade, I think it was basically a robbery for the Bulls. And Otto Porter, he's going to be gone next year anyway. Sucks. I don't know, but I think this helps Chicago a lot. Zach LaVine, Vucevic with Patrick Williams and Lowry. I mean, now Chicago has 2 legit dogs in Vucevic and Zach LaVine who can get buckets, and they're trying to go on that playoff push. The Hornets just lost LaMelo, so there's a chance. I mean, they're definitely not making it over the Knicks, but they could make it over the Hornets for sure.
Yeah.
Let me start. I was so excited. I woke up today. I saw that. I was like, no way. We just robbed him from the Magic. But from what you said, I think Vucevic coming in, he can shoot 3-ball now. He can post up. Wendell can do none of that. So I think bringing him in, it's really going to excite this team, especially Zach LaVine in pick and roll options, even with Kobe White in pick and roll options. It's going to give us a guy who can stretch out, pick and pop, or go down low, post up. So we can legit play a 5-out now. With Lowry, I didn't even talk about the tandem in which Lowry and Vucevic. I'm glad we kept Lowry. I wish we would have got Lonzo. I
wish the Bulls got Lonzo.
I was trying to get I hope we stole him from the Pelicans.
That move would have put the Bulls over the edge,
bro. Yeah. So I like this team. I think Zach, we have him for 2 more years. Vucevic, we have him for 2 more years. Farouk he's whack, but he can offer some 3-and-D somewhere. Patrick Williams, I admit. When the draft happened, I walked out when we picked him. Yeah. But he's shown some signs. I did walk out, but he's shown some signs. He's really good. So I like this team, and I think this team has an opportunity to be really good down the stretch. This young guys just got to do good. Billy Donovan has to set the tone, and we still need that 1 point guard. And not to mention, if we do end up still stunking up the place, there's a chance we can get our pick back. It's top 4 protected. So we'll see. But I think now.
Top 4?
Yeah, it's top 4 protected.
Oh, you guys are not.
Yeah, D Rose, we was 14th, and then we ended up going 1. So don't do that. But I think we're gonna make the playoffs now. I think we're a lock to get in. We're 10th seed right now. Toronto's behind us. I think right now we're 4 games out of 4th place. I think so. I think we're a lock to definitely get in at this point. And we're gonna catch the Knicks. We're better than y'all now. I just want you to know that. We're better than y'all now.
With this move, I'll take the Bulls.
Yeah, we're better than you guys now.
Standards don't show that.
Right now, you guys got it. But no, I like this move. I think this is good. So I'm proud of my team for finally pulling the trigger and making some moves, and I'm happy about this trade.
Yeah, this was an unexpected trade for me. I opened my phone up, seen that, and I was surprised. But the Bulls, they stole like a thief in the night. I like Wendell Carter Jr. I know that's kind of a hot take. I think he has more potential than Mo Bamba.
Really?
Not defensively. Offensively, I think he has a little bit more tools in his arsenal. At least from what I've seen the last couple of games before moving him. I just know he didn't develop at the rate that the Bulls were expecting.
Injury prone.
And he's injury prone. So I thought it was a good move. Like you said, Vucevic definitely stretch out to 4. Him and Markkanen, that's great for the front court. I really wanted to see the Bulls get a point guard just because I think Zach LaVine, similar to like a Kyrie Irving, I think those are players that shine better at the 2, where they have somebody who can create for them, give them the ball in rhythm, get them to their spots. So I wanted to see LaVine get a point guard like Alonzo. That would have really put them over the edge. But I think they're in a good position to make a playoff push. I would take them to get ahead over the Knicks right now. Yeah. Sorry, bro. I know you a Knicks guy, but I just think this move definitely makes them not contenders, but I think they can make a strong playoff push.
I think like when you seen Kobe White get slotted to the bench, it was clear that you need a point guard. I think with guys like Zach LaVine and like you said, Kyrie, even Steph Curry, you unlock them most when they're running the 2. Like when they're just being scorers and playmaking is like their second nature because they are playmakers, but they're scorers. And I think with that, when putting Thomas Satoransky in the starting lineup, you get a guy who's just going to pass the ball to Zach, and Zach is just going to get open. He's going to knock the shots down. With Kobe, you get the little spark plug off the bench. That's why I think we needed like an offset, like a real Lonzo Ball type of guy. Yeah. But we're good. We're going to be all right.
The thing about it, though, is that Wendell Carter wasn't even the best center on Chicago. That was Daniel Gafford.
No,
I think
100%.
Daniel
Yeah,
Gafford was better.
I agree.
And they're about the same age. So I mean, if Orlando was really watching Chicago, they could have gotten Gafford, and Gafford went to Washington, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a good fit for him. But overall, it still does not put the Bulls over the Knicks. Julius Randle's better than everybody on your team.
You think he's better than Big Voo?
right now?
You think he's better than Big Voo?
I got a
Wait, over
question.
Zach?
Right now.
Wow.
I got a question for y'all about that. Where did y'all stand in this whole Julius Randle versus Chris Bosh debate?
Oh, I mean, I didn't entertain it.
I told the guy the same thing I tell everybody with Julius Randle. This is 1 year.
Yeah.
You got to let some consistency pan out. Like we've seen Chris Bosh consistently be what he was. So you got to let just some consistency pan on top of what he's doing. But so far, so good. He's good.
This is what I thought Julius Randle was going to do when he first got signed with the Knicks.
He did.
I saw you tweet.
Then after, the first year, I kind of,
I feel like it was straight Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I think it's just we actually have some structure around the offense and the system. So, when the trade happened, when we traded Kristaps, when we got Julius Randle, I said I think Randle's better than Porzingis. At that time, it was a hot take. Everybody didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, maybe it could be because Porzingis is
Injury
doing
prone.
well, but he's really injury prone. Another move that happened, though, was the Denver Nuggets acquired Aaron Gordon for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a first-round pick. And I think Orlando actually won this trade.
Let me ask you guys a question before because I was talking to my friend. I'm not going to disclose his name in case this is a bad take. So I'm not going to, but I didn't know. So I wanted to ask a question. I asked him, I said, okay, Denver had Jeremy Grant and he played how he played. You see how Jeremy Grant plays now.
Yeah.
I asked him, Aaron Gordon or Jeremy Grant, what's the difference? Because somebody on Twitter said, this makes Denver better than the Clippers because they felt like Aaron Gordon was a better Jeremy Grant. So I asked, what makes Jeremy Grant and Aaron Gordon different? Like, what does Aaron Gordon do that's better than Jeremy? So now I'm asking you, what's the difference? Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Aaron Gordon. I watched a lot of Jeremy Grant.
I think Jeremy Grant is a way better defender than Aaron Gordon.
Agreed.
So I think if there's a difference, it's Jeremy Grant gets the edge because I think Jeremy Grant would play his role better. I think Aaron Gordon, although he has shown the ability to finally hit threes now, he shoots around 37%. Like Jeremy Grant is a better shooter than him, and he knows how to play his role better.
Okay.
I think Aaron Gordon's kind of still stuck in that stage where he thinks he can be a high caliber all-star player and not really accepting his role. Like I think he's more of a pick and roll big man. I don't really think he fits best as a stretch. But I think he could fit Denver because Nikola Jokic is such a great passer, and he's going to find him. But I think Jeremy Grant, losing him was big. And now they just lost Gary Harris. You just lost two of your best perimeter defenders that you had last year when you went on those upset runs and beat Utah and the Clippers. And now Aaron Gordon, what is he really going to do for you?
He doesn't want to play the 4. He didn't want to play the 4 in Orlando.
He wants to play the 3?
Yeah. And the thing with it is, like, when Denver, people forget when Denver went on that run, they had versatile defenders that was able to guard Paul George's, Kawhi's, Donovan Mitchell, and them. They had those guys, and now they kind of don't. And that's why I asked you, because I don't think Aaron Gordon's defensively is as versatile or on the same level as Jeremy Grant. I think Jeremy Grant can guard 1 through 4, possibly even 5s, depending on the size. And I don't think Aaron Gordon has that type of energy to really, and not to mention Jeremy Grant's a great off-ball defender too.
Yeah.
So I just don't think, I didn't see the move as like a big time thing. I think Aaron Gordon's a better player right now than Gary Harris, but I think defensively Gary Harris can guard 1 to 3. So it's like you're losing a guy, get his offense hasn't been the same in a while, but he still gives you top-notch defense on a given night, and now you're bringing in a guy which you already have Will Barton, MPJ, Paul Millsap. Like, you have guys at the 3 and 4, so now where is he going to really fit in?
Because my question is, because I didn't like them losing Gary Harris either. Like, that's big for their perimeter defense. My question is, who do they insert to compensate for losing Gary Harris?
And they traded R.J. Hampton.
Yeah, Will Barton. I think that the starting lineup is going to be Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola
So
Jokic.
Millsap off the bench.
Yeah, I think Millsap comes off the bench, and I think that's the most realistic scenario. MPJ could play the 4 or 3, so I don't think it really doesn't matter there. I think R.J. Hampton wasn't a big loss because he wasn't going to play over Monte Morris.
Yeah,
Monte Morris just got an extension.
And he's
going to
good.
be there for a while. He's going to stay, but I mean, Orlando, they did trade Vucevic and Gordon, but now they have Otto Porter Jr., Gary Harris. Like, if guys can stay healthy, I mean, that's not too horrible of a drop-off. I know Vucevic is a big loss, but, they're not going to be like...
Oh, they were trash.
They're in a solid rebuilding
they're still gonna
stage.
be bad.
But they're always hurt.
Yeah.
So,
So, for me, I don't think getting Aaron Gordon takes the Nuggets over the top, and I think the Nuggets, they made this trade to get over the top. Like, we look at them as a team that has been kind of going through the waters as of late, but they never able to get to the championship. This move, I don't think, gets them to the championship.
No, I agree. I don't think it makes them a contender. For me, the reason I kind of liked it for them and the reason I was okay with it is because for me, it was kind of like they supplanted Jeremy Grant. And with the picking up McGee, it was kind of like they got him to replace Plumlee. So you kind of got the same kind of usage out of both those players. But I agree with you, Riv. There's no major difference between Aaron Gordon and Jeremy Grant. I prefer Jeremy Grant. I would take Jeremy Grant over Aaron Gordon. But at least you have somebody there who can kind of give you something similar to Jeremy Grant. Give you something a little bit different. So we'll see how it plays out. But I like the move. I'm okay with it. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if Aaron Gordon, at this point, teams are just really banking on what he can be.
He's still like 24, right?
How long has he been in the league?
I think he's like 26. He has to be like
He's been in the league for a minute.
That's what I'm saying. He's been in the league for mad long.
I remember watching high school highlights.
I think we know what he's going to be at this point.
He's 25 years old.
Really?
Yes.
What?
But he came into the league at 18, 19.
So I think we know what he's going to be.
What more can he add to his game?
Exactly.
He just added the 3-ball 8 years later.
We thought he was supposed to be the
Like
next
Blake
coming
Griffin.
of Blake Griffin.
That's what I thought. But look,
he can dunk
the
like
league
Blake.
isn't even like that anymore, though.
I don't think he can dunk like Blake.
Nah, he
I
can't.
think he can dunk better. I think he dunks better than Blake.
Nah, Blake.
He's
prom.
Wait, what are you
That's
talking
an
about?
argument.
What are we talking about? Like slam
in-game
dunk?
dunks or
No, yeah, 'cause slam dunk. Come on, Aaron Gordon
Yeah.
did things Blake can never do.
In-game dunks is Blake all day.
Oh yeah, I'll
that's
take
right.
Blake all day.
Yeah, Blake is a better in-game dunker.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
what matters more.
That is true. Right,
No,
you're right.
that
You're
is
absolutely
true.
right.
That is true.
So another move that happened is that J.J. Redick and Trey Lyles are getting traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Wes Iwundu and James Johnson are going to the Pelicans. My first thoughts on this is that they got J.J. to replace what Seth Curry gave them last year.
Exactly.
They were missing that sharpshooter, and they finally got one in J.J. Redick. I think he's going to be a perfect fit next to Luka and Porzingis. It gives them more shooting. It doesn't help them out on defense, but they were a bad defensive team anyway. They just need to get more shooters, and that's what I thought this move really was.
Yeah, agreed. Again, it wasn't one of those big trades for me. The Mavericks did get a little bit better. Like you said, I thought losing Curry was big for the Mavericks. Losing a sharpshooter like him. So replacing him with Redick, I think, is great. Like you said, Redick isn't known for his defense, and that isn't going to change, especially at this later stage of his career. So just take the sharp shooting and compensate for the defense in other ways. So I like the trade. It's a win for the Mavericks.
I think they're realizing that Seth Curry for Josh Richardson deal was
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was a fail.
It was terrible.
They banked on it. They think, okay, Josh Richardson, he plays D. He can shoot a little bit, not like Seth, but a little bit. So maybe we can pair him next to Luka. It hasn't panned out. And I think J.J. Redick, what people forget is that all the ways he can shoot. He hasn't been hitting it as well as he used to, but he can still shoot that ball from all types of angles, off ball, on ball. He can get off the screen. He can pick and pop. He's actually a really good pick and roll player. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
So that's another guy that can handle the ball, not all game, but for a little bit just to get his shot off. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, with Dallas, they're going to be what they are. They're a high offensive scoring team. I think getting J.J. Redick is just going to uplift their scoring, and I think they just walk into games where we're just going to outscore you. We're not the best defensive team. We don't have a lot of defensive stoppers, but we have a high-powered offense, and we're going to just outscore you. And I think with Porzingis there, it helps him a little bit with the spacing. Luka gets another guy where he can dish out and hit the shots. So this is a good trade for Dallas, and I think for the Pelicans, getting his contract off of them and just banking with their young guys, I think this was good for them too. I think now they're probably going to start playing more Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Kira Lewis. So I think getting the young guys and realizing they're not good right now is good for them too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it. You were right on what you said. JJ adds to the Mavericks, and now the Pelicans get to play their young players, so I think that was a win for them. The next move, the 76ers acquired George Hill, and OKC got Tony Bradley, which I think is a sleeper move.
No, he's good.
Bradley's
He's been playing good.
Yeah.
They also acquired Austin Rivers. He's probably going to get bought out. And then the Knicks got Terrence Ferguson.
He sucks.
I like Terrence Ferguson.
Do you really?
Yeah.
He probably just likes dunks.
Yeah.
Okay.
My cousin was upstairs when we got Terrence Ferguson. He was like, "Yo, man, Knicks got Terrence Ferguson." And I looked at him. He was making some barbecue chicken at the time. I looked at him. I said, "So what?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that gonna do?"
No difference
Probably
at
with
all.
mad tight. Like,
he was
he
like,
really just told me that.
"Nah, bro, it's like a friend that." He was like, "It's like a player that he just another player, just in case he's like that." And I said, "This doesn't do anything for me."
Yeah.
Like,
He's
I
not
don't
gonna play.
He's a standard 3-and-D guy, but there's no room for him in the rotation.
He's not gonna play.
Yeah.
You guys are set with your rotation.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, George Hill to Philly, I think was a good move.
I like that move.
He brings some. I think they knew they couldn't get Kyle Lowry. Toronto's asking for way too much.
Why did they want Kyle Lowry? Do you guys think he would have been a good fit? I don't think Lowry would have been a good fit, or I don't see how the Sixers were looking to utilize him.
I think he would have been a good fit just because I think he'll bring defense and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
he's
shooting.
that guy that, I mean, Philly lacks kind of alpha dogs, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think Ben Simmons, sometimes he's timid. Joel Embiid, sometimes he's timid. When they almost got to the finals, it was when they had a guy in Jimmy who can really
True.
galvanize the players.
a great
I
point.
think Kyle Lowry is that guy. Like, even in Toronto's championship run, he didn't score a bunch of points, but he's always taking
He's a
charges.
locker room guy.
He's
Yeah.
always doing,
Yeah.
things outside of the game that
He's
help everybody.
he's a Draymond type guy where
Yeah.
he's gonna go. He's the locker room guy. He's gonna bring that
Yeah.
energy, and I think that would have been huge for Philly, a team that needs that identity, especially with Doc Rivers as the coach. And we know Doc Rivers teams tend to fold under pressure, so I think
Yeah.
that would have been big. I still think George Hill's a good move though. I think this is
Yeah.
a guy.
He's a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he's also
A veteran.
he's a
Seasoned
veteran. He's
veteran.
been deep into playoff runs.
Yeah.
He's been to the finals.
Yeah.
They weren't that good, but he's been to the finals. Them Pacer days, he's been deep in the playoffs. So I think this, even with the Bucks, he was good with them. So I think
Spurs.
He's solid.
this guy's-
He's solid.
yeah, this
Yeah, he's
guy's
solid
everywhere,
wherever he
like-
goes.
yeah.
man.
So I think this is a good move, and I think this kind of like helps Tyrese Maxey in a sense for his development going forward. I think this
Yeah.
is good for him. So getting a guy to come in and play that backup point guard spot, I think that's good for them. So just, and plus, he's cheap, so
Yeah.
that's a good move too in a sense. So
And
Yeah.
OKC just got more draft picks. They have 17 first-round picks and 17 second-round picks.
sheesh.
And the next
Lovely
somewhat years, I'm
rebuilding.
not even sure
Yeah.
what
I
the
think
number
3 or
is.
4.
Yeah, but outside of that, I don't think this move is too notable. I put it with the notable moves because Philly is like a championship contender.
Yeah.
But this is a move that I didn't get. The Blazers
Yeah.
traded Gary Trent Jr. and
Let's talk
Rodney
about it.
Hood for Norman Powell.
Let's talk about it.
I know Norman Powell's averaging about 20 points per game this year. He's playing really well, but I don't think he's like an upgrade from Gary Trent. Like when CJ McCollum was out, Gary Trent was averaging 20 points per game. Gary Trent was holding it down. He plays great defense. He always has a lot of energy on the court. I think they're about the same player. Rodney Hood, I know that he
He's
got
good.
injured.
He's good. Yeah.
He's starting to get his, rhythm back, but to give Toronto Gary Trent and Rodney Hood and you're giving up Norman Powell, I just don't think that was a good move for Portland.
Yeah.
They didn't even get a pick back. Like they just straight up went, we're just gonna give you these 2 guys.
Yeah.
You give us that guy, and we're just gonna go
Yeah.
with it. I think I would take Gary Trent right now, and I think
would too.
he's younger.
More
So
upside.
yeah, more he's what Norman Powell is now,
Yeah.
but earlier in his career.
Yeah.
So I think that's you should have. And Gary Trent has chemistry with Dame and CJ. He can ride with them. And Rodney Hood is also, he's starting to get. Remember, he tore his ACL last year, so people forget that. Like,
I thought it was Achilles.
oh, sorry, he
Yeah,
tore
I
his
think it was
Achilles, so he's getting into his own. But I think, you bring in Norman Powell, and it's still a good move in a sense. But I just think Gary Trent, like, this is a great move for Toronto. You get a younger guy
Yeah.
who's going to be able to fit in seamlessly with the squad. He can shoot the ball. He was the one. They put him on LeBron
Yeah.
when they played the Lakers. He was the one. He was LeBron's primary defender. So, and he's only 6'5". That's good. So he's a defender. He's a dog, and I think he's young. Toronto doesn't have a lot of youth movement in there. So
Yeah.
I think getting him is I can see getting him is going to be the start of the Toronto movement, the youth movement.
Yeah.
But for Portland to just give both guys up, I don't see the vision, but I get Norman Powell's been balling, so I guess I get it in that sense.
Yeah. I think the Blazers lost this trade just because I'm a big Gary Trent Jr. fan and I'm a big Rodney Hood fan. I think he
Both
doesn't
good
get
guys.
enough. Yeah, I think he doesn't get enough shine and enough credit. Obviously, he's been injury prone, but he's a bucket. I just think he hasn't found the right home for him, like a right fit where he can really shine and play his game. Norman Powell, I mean, he had a great run when they made that championship run. So he's battle tested. I don't know if they wanted somebody on the wing with more experience. Maybe that's what they were thinking.
That makes sense.
I don't quite see the vision either. And I think Gary Trent Jr., he has too much upside, too much potential to let go. And I think, like you said, playing with Dame and CJ, I think that would have brought more of his potential out.
Maybe paying him, they wouldn't have had the money to pay him. Maybe that could have been.
Maybe that could have factored
him,
in.
Nurkic, Covington next year. Maybe that would have been swayed in there. I'm just trying to make it make sense in my mind.
I mean,
yeah.
Gary Trent is 22. He's averaging 15 points per game. Norman Powell's 27. He's averaging 19.7. I mean, Norman Powell is the third best 3-point shooter in the league percentage-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, like, I don't think that's going to continue because I know Norman Powell, he's a good shooter, but I don't
the
think
shots he takes.
this is going to really
Wow.
it's not going
Facts,
to,
bro.
I don't think this efficiency is going to continue for him. Portland's another team, right? That's similar to a team that made a move earlier like the Nuggets that they're trying to get over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because the West is wide open this year. The Lakers are hurt.
Agreed.
And then who else? Utah is at number 1 seed, but we're not sure about Utah. Like
Clippers
Utah,
fold in the playoffs.
We're not sold on Utah yet.
So because of that, the West is wide open. Does Norman Powell put the Blazers over the top? I really don't think so. Like I don't think that's a guy that I go like, wow, they got Norman
But
Powell.
let me ask you a question, because like you look at the move, right? Like you look at teams like Boston, Portland. They're trying to get over the hump. The way we got Vucevic, we kind of got a steal. We just gave him
got Daniel Tice as well.
Yeah, that's backup big. I like that. But I'm saying, I think Boston and Portland could have pulled the trigger and maybe got somebody off a steal with the way we stole Vucevic from Orlando.
Boston could have got Vucevic.
That too, yeah. They had more picks than us. They could have definitely
They
more.
got more young players. I would have traded Payne Pritchard, Aaron.
Romeo
I like
Langford. Now, I don't know about Payton.
I like
I
Payne
would've traded
Pritchard.
for
I like him.
Vucevic, I would have traded him.
You got to think though, he's the back. Like,
He's solid off the bench,
I would have gave up Langford,
Yeah.
Aaron Neesmith, but I don't know about
Pritchard is pretty
though.
good, bro. I like him.
Like they need because you're gonna start Jeff Teague.
No, you could.
Jeff Teague is washed.
He sucks.
He's washed.
He just got traded.
He's
Wait, he got traded.
Yeah, he got traded. Yeah, he got
Who did he get
traded.
traded to?
I just had it in my brain. Hold on.
I don't think he got traded.
No, he just got
Did he get
traded.
I'm pretty sure he did, man. His
I got you,
career
I got you.
went.
Don't
His
even-
career
don't
went
even-
downhill.
Jeff Teague. Magic get Jeff Teague.
Wow.
So
That was for Fournier.
Oh, wow.
yeah. Okay.
They had
That was
to
the guy
throw,
they
yeah, they had to throw in. They
Okay.
doing bum Jeff Teague. He sucks.
I mean, he's a
He's-
starting point
he's
guard. He's
washed.
basically
Starting
going
point
to be
guard
their
where?
Not anymore.
He's going to be their DJ Augustine.
Only because Cole
That's
Anthony's
Cole
out.
Anthony's out, and I love Cole Anthony. He's tough.
Yeah, that's it. He's really bad.
Nah,
bro. Like,
I thought he had some left in the tank. I can't lie.
Jeff
Like when
Teague?
when the
Yeah.
Celtics
Yeah,
got
everybody
him, I
thought-
was like, yo,
yeah.
that's perfect. Backup for Kemba, a starting point guard on a lot of other teams off the bench. That was a steal, but he has
wanted
not
him on
played
the
up to that
Knicks.
potential.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I wanted the Knicks to get a solid point guard in free agency.
I mean, I got Derrick Rose now.
Yeah, but at the time we had up for paying. I wanted like a Reggie Jackson or like a Jeff Teague, a guy like that.
Reggie Jackson's still, he's still all
Jackson's
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that was Portland. I don't know why they made that move, but they did. And then we talked about it a little bit. The Celtics got Evan Fournier for Jeff Teague and 2 second-round picks.
Steal.
I mean,
yeah.
the reason why I don't agree with you is that I think Evan Fournier is just going to fill in the void that Gordon Hayward left, but just at a lower level. That's all it's going to be like. The Celtics are still going to be that team that is going to be forgotten about in the Eastern Conference. They aren't going to make much noise because as long as Kemba Walker keeps playing like he's playing,
Oh,
they
Jeff
aren't
Teague got
gonna do
waived.
nothing.
Magic
damn.
waived.
That's
Yeah,
Oh,
Magic
damn.
waived. They just
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They
So,
wasn't
I mean,
about to waste their time.
I wouldn't say Evan Fournier. He's good. I think.
I like him.
No, I think he's good too.
Yeah.
He's a very
I
underrated
just think they
player.
needed a big though. I think they needed a real legit big. I think Boston. I think Danny Ainge is folding right now,
Yeah.
man. I think there's a lot of deals he could have made easily, and he's just scared to pull the trigger. I think that Nets trade still haunts him to this day. Honestly, I just feel like there's a lot of moves that you're seeing the team, like all the moves he could have easily beat all those teams, and he's just not doing it. I think the Fournier is a good move. You know, you're getting a 20-point per game scorer, and he's probably going to come off the bench, but you're not going to play him in the clutch over Marcus Smart. You're just not going to do that. Marcus Smart defense is too valuable. You're not going to play him over Kemba, and you're damn sure not going to play him over Brown and Tatum.
I don't know if maybe You could play him over Kemba.
You think so?
Depending on what you need.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, Fournier is like a cone on defense.
True. But Kemba's not.
Yeah, Kemba's
not.
true.
He's a defensive liability as well.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
Evan Fournier gives him better shooting because he's a sharp shooter.
But with Tatum, yeah, that's true. I mean,
And I
with
think
Tatum,
closing lineup,
have you ever watched like Boston down the stretch? They are the dumbest team.
Oh
ever.
yeah.
Yes, I don't like.
They're still playing super young.
Yeah,
They
they're
play like a
very
young
bad
team,
IQ wise. Like they're not gonna find Fournier ever. Like so, like,
Yeah.
yeah, they should have got a big.
Yeah. And I think it gives them cushion. You know, Kemba's been out a lot, this year with injuries. Marcus Smart's coming back off an injury. So, like you said, to have a 20-point per game scorer in the mix, just in case one of those players happen to go down, they can kind of offset
I think
that
Marcus
loss.
Smart, he came back and Kyrie gave him 40 on his first game back.
Yo, Kyrie's on a tear.
Yeah, he just gave him straight 40. It was really bad.
gosh.
So actually, Evan Fournier, this is his last year on the contract, so he's an expiring deal.
Okay.
How much he gets paid?
$17 million a year.
Ooh.
So
You think they'll pick that up?
No. I don't. I think he's an unrestricted free agent, so they can't pick up anything up. I think this was a rental then,
Yeah.
to go on a run, but I don't think they have it in them to go on a run. Especially they just lost Tice, and he was their best defensive big man
By far.
Yeah. So
And they didn't get anything back for Tice, did
They
they?
gave them Mo Wagner.
Mo Wagner,
Yeah.
for real?
Because we got him from the Wizards and then we
yeah,
just
that-
shipped him.
yeah, that
We
makes
got
no
Tice.
sense.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
that was
we
a
got-
steal.
I'm
I
glad we got
love
Tice.
Daniel Tice.
Back up big. I'm
I'm
good.
surprised they gave him up.
He's a good
I
passer.
mean, the Bulls went from having Wendell Carter and
Daniel Gafford.
Gafford to Vucevic
And
and
Tice.
I wish we would have kept
That's-
Gafford,
yeah.
honestly. He's
I mean,
kind.
that's
He has kind of like he
Yeah.
kind of has that Tice value, but he's like 23. So I wish we'd have kept him. But Tice is a good passer, good defender,
Yeah.
so that's good.
It's worth the
get him.
move.
And
Yeah.
this was a really notable move that happened in during the trade deadline. I saved this one for last because this might go on for a bit, and I want to ask a follow-up question to this one as well.
What are you talking about?
The Miami Heat
Oladipo, yeah.
acquired.
I forgot. Wow.
The Miami Heat acquired Victor Oladipo for Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley and a pick swap. Now, I mean, if Oladipo has been linked to the Heat for a while. We all thought that he was probably going to get traded to Miami. And if he didn't get traded, he was going to sign with them in free agency.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think this was good. I think Oladipo he's that secondary or third star on the team. He's going to play his role better. In Houston, he was asked to be that guy along with John Wall. I don't think that's where he fit. He's still a very great defender. And on top of that, they're saying that LaMarcus Aldridge might sign with the Heat. The Heat are front runners to land LaMarcus Aldridge. He just got bought out by the Spurs. Now, if they have a lineup of like Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Oladipo, Bam Adebayo, LaMarcus Aldridge,
That's tough.
I mean, do you guys think that they have a legit chance to make the NBA Finals?
Oh,
Ooh.
the NBA Finals.
That's a tough
that's what
one.
they're in it for. So
Okay. I'm gonna say no because I don't think they can beat Brooklyn. I don't think Victor Oladipo is the team that is the guy who says, "All right, we got him. We can compete with Brooklyn now." I think.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think they're. Yeah, Oladipo's, but I do believe they can definitely make an ECF run. I think if avoiding Brooklyn early, I think right now you're looking at Milwaukee. You already know the game plan to stop them. I think they can do it right now. I think. Boston, I think they can beat Boston. I didn't see Boston really get any better. I think Miami got a little bit better. I think they'll get a little bit better with Aldridge.
Yeah.
Pacers, I don't believe in the Pacers at all. Atlanta,
they're not even in the playoffs.
yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait to get on Sebastian. He talked about the Pacers. Oh my God. Charlotte, they lost LaMelo for the season. Even then, I thought they were just going to be a good first round, but I don't think they're there yet. Atlanta, they're not there yet. So I think Miami has a really good chance to avoid Brooklyn and make a run. But now, Philly's going to be tough because Embiid is on another tear right now. So you got to go off what you see right now. Embiid is on another. Bam's going to have a really hard time sticking with Embiid. But then you got Jimmy, but then they got Ben Simmons. So you kind of like got a guy who can guard Jimmy Butler. But I think Oladipo, if he seamlessly walks into his role, and he understands, like, this is not my team. I'm not the guy. Jimmy's the guy. Bam is the second guy. I'm like Goran Dragic, and I'm the role guy, but I can have my night. I think this is going to be a good move. You get a guy who can still play defense at a high level. He can score. He's an all right playmaker. He's not a great shooter, but he can hit shots. So I think this can be a good move if everything works in their favor. But I think, Miami, that dog mentality, Jimmy Butler's there. I think when he speaks to Jimmy Butler, he's going to understand that they're there to win. So I think this is a good move.
Yeah, I co-sign that. I love the move. The Heat definitely won this trade. Is it enough for them to get to the NBA Finals? I don't think so. I think the Nets have too much firepower to keep up with, but I think this makes the Heat valid contenders. Like, I think they can definitely compete. Would I choose them over the Celtics? Yes. Would I choose them to compete against the Sixers? Yes. Would I choose them to compete against the Bucks? Yes, it's proven. So I think Oladipo definitely takes them to a whole nother level. But I don't know if he's that factor where I go, okay, they can compete with, the star power in Brooklyn. But I agree. I think that culture is going to do wonders for him, that championship culture, that championship mentality. Playing with a player at the likes of Jimmy Butler is going to do well for his confidence and for his game. So I'm excited to see the pairing. But to get to the finals, that's tough.
Somebody will have to beat the Nets for them to get to the finals.
Yeah. And I'd have to see how they mesh together,
First, I want to talk about the deal that Miami didn't make. They didn't trade for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
I think it was smart. Duncan Robinson, losing him, okay.
It was asking for Hero or Robinson.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they were asking for both.
They were asking for both?
They were not going to
what
make
is
the
wrong with
trade.
Toronto?
I thought it was one or the other.
Yeah.
They said
both they're bugging.
They said that they would not do a trade if Hero is not included. That's what was holding back the trade.
What is wrong with Toronto?
So
yeah.
Tyler Hero, I'm glad they didn't become desperate and Miami didn't trade Hero because Lowry's a rental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So because of that, you don't trade a player who can become something for a rental. So I like they didn't make that move, and they got Oladipo for nothing. Like Kelly Olynyk,
Oh yeah.
he's a good stretch. I think that's the deal I had them making. Like I
Sure.
had Kelly Olynyk in the deal. I didn't have Avery Bradley.
He barely played this year.
Because he was
Yeah.
hurt, so I didn't think Avery Bradley was going to be included. But I thought Kendrick Nunn was going to be included in the deal.
They
But,
managed to keep him.
Yeah.
But now, you look at the roster: Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Oladipo, Kendrick Nunn, Goran Dragic, Iguodala's still there. They got Trevor Ariza too.
Forgot they had Iggy.
So they have a lot of veteran guys, and these are their wings and the guards, right? And then big men, Bam Adebayo, Bjelica, a guy who can stretch out the floor.
Yeah.
LA's
And
coming.
And then Precious.
I don't know, man.
And I'll say this: if they get LaMarcus Aldridge, I have to rethink this whole thing. I'm just gonna go off the assumption that they're getting LaMarcus Aldridge because I think it's going to happen. If KD is hurt, which it's not a given that he's going to be healthy,
Yeah.
they can beat Brooklyn.
Oh,
I agree. Yeah.
Let me explain something. If KD is hurt, you have no chance. And I mean, like,
wait,
no. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah,
They have no chance. That's ridiculous.
wait.
Zero
That's
chance?
ridiculous.
Let me say this. I'm
That's
gonna say this, and
ridiculous.
I've said this before.
Okay.
If Kevin Durant does not play,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous.
you will lose. You will not go. There is no chance you guys go to the finals.
Wait, you still
That's
picked
ridiculous.
the Nets to go to the finals without KD?
Yes, they have.
I'm gonna
James
say,
Harden.
listen.
They have James Harden and Kyrie.
You have James
That's
Harden
tough.
and Kyrie. Last time we seen Kyrie in a playoff atmosphere, it looked really bad.
Come on, man, get out of here.
Harden. Last time we seen Harden in the playoff atmosphere in the bubble, it looked really bad.
Where
Yeah.
he averaged 30 against the Lakers.
I hate
what are you
those.
talking about?
He averaged 30.
What do you mean? You act like he didn't play bad. He got double teamed at half court every time.
What are they gonna do now?
They
There's no
can't-
KD. What?
They could double team
Yeah.
him when they have shooters. They go 5 out. No, they can't.
Nobody, bro. First of all, when you guys played the Heat, right? Because you're a Nets fan now.
The only
So when you-
reason the Lakers double teamed Harden is because Westbrook was on that team. They
Okay.
can't double team Harden in Brooklyn when you have Joe Harris, Kyrie, Jeff Green, and I forgot the other guy that's gonna be there, but he's gonna be a shooter too.
Who's gonna be at the 5?
Jeff Green plays a 5 for them.
Okay, last time
they
y'all
go
did that,
small.
Bam Adebayo had 40 points and Jimmy Butler didn't play.
And they lost.
So Jimmy Butler didn't hear that again. Jimmy
If
Butler
Jimmy plays, he
didn't
doesn't-
play.
If
Yeah.
Jimmy plays, he doesn't-
Now you add
if
Oladipo
Jimmy-
to the mix.
If Jimmy's there, if Jimmy's there, Adebayo does not have 40 though.
But it looks a lot different because he's that.
Yeah.
You
This
guys,
is what I'm gonna say.
I
This is what I'm
got
saying. This is what I'm saying. The Miami Heat, if they get LaMarcus Aldridge, will make the Eastern Conference Finals if they don't run into Brooklyn.
I agree with
But
you.
and we have Miami Heat viewers that watch this show. Whenever we put out a segment,
Yeah.
we have I think 1,000 views on the video. So I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but I'm gonna say this: you guys have no chance if Brooklyn is healthy, at all.
Oh yeah, no. 100%.
Brooklyn, Miami fans, I think they're the most delusional fan base in sports.
So what's your pick for a series?
My pick for a series would be. Is that my phone?
No, it's me.
This
Okay.
guy.
Put my phone on silent.
My pick for a series, if Kevin Durant is healthy, 6 games at most.
5.
With the Heat.
6, yes.
I give it 5.
6 at
Damn,
most.
I was gonna give it 6.
I give it a
too.
hard 5 games.
And this is with
If everybody's
with LaMarcus
healthy, I
Aldridge?
give it a hard 5
And
games.
with
yeah.
LaMarcus
what-
Aldridge.
You know what this reminds
With
me
or
of?
without?
Oh, I forgot. They have Blake Griffin, bro. Oh, shit.
But
Anyways, I'm not even
I think
acknowledging that.
Blake
I'm not
Griffin-
gonna lie.
No.
He-
I am, because he's
Go ahead,
playing
you
well
do-
for them.
He's
He played like one game.
Listen, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think this is the time to kind of reinvigorate his career. But Blake Griffin, before this deal, was looking kind of on the wash side.
With Aldridge is looking washed.
If I see Miami, if I'm Miami and I'm
he's looking washed too.
if I'm Eric Spoelstra and I look out on the court and I see Blake Griffin guarding Bam Adebayo, I'm giving him the ball every single play.
That's a bucket.
Yeah, every single
This
play.
what I'm
That's a
saying
bucket.
though is that look, I think the Miami Heat, I like what they're doing. I like their tenacity. That it's kind of like the Rockets with Daryl Morey.
Bringing them up to take them
Right?
down.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like the Rockets with Daryl Morey. They're like, okay,
Okay.
we know the Warriors are dominant. They're probably going to win, but we're going to try and compete.
Yes.
Pat Riley says, okay, we're going to try and compete. But
Yeah.
you have no chance. The Heat have no chance.
I don't know, though.
Brooklyn is going to win a championship. I've said it. I even made a segment when I had to do the podcast by myself. The segment is called The Brooklyn Nets Will Win the 2021 NBA Championship. That's exactly the title. I'm not backing down from that statement. It's going to happen.
Thank God.
Are you on the same pick?
What?
Nets for the chip.
No, I said Nets to the finals.
Harden,
Okay,
Harden is
I
going
can stay up that.
to get his first ring this year. It's going to solidify his legacy. And even if they don't have Kevin Durant, to me, I think they could beat Miami. James Harden. We're going to talk about James Harden in a couple segments. He's the best player in basketball right now.
Man.
Yeah, but
Don't even answer that. We'll get to that
it's like
later.
when we. I'll save it. I'll
say this.
I'll save it.
If the Nets are healthy, I agree with you 100%. The Heat have no chance. I give them the 5 strong games. You know, they fought their heart out.
Yeah.
Hell, if Kevin Durant, I'm sticking on this. You heard it here first. I'm standing on it. If Kevin Durant does not play, the Nets have no chance to make the final. I don't care either you play the Heat, the Bucks, or the Sixers. Out of them 3, one of them is going to beat you. You have no chance to make the finals. Kevin Durant is that crucial, that important in a playoff series. You have no chance. But if Kevin Durant plays, they're going to the finals. But I have the Clippers winning the chip.
You have the Clippers winning it?
Yeah, I have the Clippers winning the chip for sure. That's my take.
I don't know. I mean, I agree. I think with a healthy KD, I think the Nets are kind of unstoppable. They're not my surefire pick to win the chip, though, but I would pick them to get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Also, Nick Claxton can contain Bam.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
You're serious about that?
I'm dead serious.
No, he was dead serious. You saw this. Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now, too.
Yeah.
Nick,
I like him, but
a lot of people,
I like him too.
A lot of people don't watch the Nets, right? So
It is
nobody
kinda
knows about Nick Claxton. But I'm telling you, come playoff time, he's going to become a household name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where basketball fans, when they watch the Nets, are going to be like, yo, who's this Nick Claxton guy?
He's tough.
He's going to be on Undisputed. Skip is going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Shannon's going to talk about him. Stephen A is going to talk about him. Max, everybody's going to talk about Nick Claxton. He's going to be the Nets X factor come playoff time.
I agree.
Everybody's going to know his name.
Bam is Bam, though.
Yeah, I think Bam will destroy Claxton, but
I don't think
He's a strong dude.
Claxton
Claxton's
reminds
a little
me,
skinny little frame.
He's tough though.
Yeah, he's good.
He's tough, though.
Claxton will get destroyed by Embiid,
and he lives above.
But not Bam. I don't think Bam can do it.
I think
I think it won't be as dominant as
but I
Embiid
think
would do it.
Bam's gonna have a 15 and 20 type of thing on him, you know. But it's not like
no 40 and 20 or 40 and 15, nothing like that.
30.
Yeah, Embiid's a big body.
Yeah.
I think the Heat. It'll be a good. I think it'll be a good matchup. Maybe Eastern Conference Finals. That's how far they can make it.
Okay.
But overall, I don't see them making the finals because of the Nets. You know, the Nets. We're gonna look back 5 years from now and be like, wow, I can't believe anybody picked this team not to win the finals.
So you don't see anybody in the East competing with the Nets?
Nobody.
Like giving them a series?
You're asking me?
Both of you.
I only see one team.
Who, Sixers?
The Bucks. Oh. Only because of like their personnel.
Would it help? Okay.
They can put out 5 guys. They're probably the only team in the East that can put out 5 guys that can guard them the best way possible. Drew Holiday, PJ,
I agree.
Giannis,
and they have the size.
Chris Middleton. Yeah, like Sixers can't throw out 5 guys and say, go guard them. I don't think they can do that. Like, the Heat can't throw off. They're going to have to play Robinson and Hero late down the stretch. They can't throw off 5 guys. Or 3 guys even to guard Harden and Kyrie. I think the Bucks can do it.
Too much firepower.
Yeah.
I think nobody in the East can do it. The only team that can do it in the NBA is the Lakers fully healthy.
The Clippers
not even
did
the
it.
Clippers.
The Clippers did
Clippers can't beat them.
No, wait, what are you saying?
Nah,
Like,
they
beat them or guard or like put out a 3 that can best defend?
I think he's saying in a 7-game
Reef
series.
said you don't give anybody a chance to beat the Nets. That's his question. I don't.
Yeah.
Outside healthy Lakers, and that's only because of LeBron.
Based off what I've seen,
Yeah.
I think the Clippers can do it. I would bet on the Nets, but I think the Clippers can make it like a 6-7 game series. Based off what I've seen, how they played, I think they can do it. The Lakers, obviously, because they have LeBron, so you know you're never gonna doubt LeBron. And then the Bucks would be the 3 teams that I would like. I would bet on the Nets, but those would be the 3 that had the best chance.
So I have a question, if I can. Are we underestimating chemistry? Because like when this move first happened, I was before we started, I was against it a little bit just because I didn't think chemistry wise it was going to work out. So now that we see kind of KD out of the mix, Kyrie out of the mix here and there, Blake Griffin kind of find his way into the mix. Do you think chemistry will play a factor at all in terms of your championship run, or you think just because you have all of that talent, that's some amazing talent that they can't be stopped?
I think, my opinion, I think chemistry plays a sense, but I think when you just got going back to Golden State, their chemistry was bad at towards the end. But when you got guys that are just that great, Steph, KD, Clay, Draymond, they're just, regardless of the chemistry, they're gonna know okay, we might not be cool, but when we get on this court, we know what to do, we know how to beat this team. And I think with the Nets, that's just they're gonna know. Okay, yeah, we might be beefing here and there, but we know when to turn it on and when to get it going. Okay, and I feel like KD is the type of guy, he's cool with both parties, so I think he's gonna kind of be that mediator. And Jeff Green too, Uncle, they call him Unc. Uncle he's gonna be that guy that really has the little old mentality because he's cool with all of them too. So DeAndre Jordan too. So I think they have those guys to kind of offset that bad chemistry. So I don't think the Nets have chemistry problems. I think the only thing that's gonna hurt them is injuries. Honestly, that would be the only thing that really offsets them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not having enough time to play together and fully see what they look like, fully healthy.
For me, I don't think that's a problem because I think James Harden and KD are already they're clicked. They know how to play together. When the trade first happened, my only concern was Kyrie. We even talked about it with Jack when we talked about the Nets, and I said, look, right now I think Harden's being way too passive. Okay. I said in order for the Nets to be their best selves, Harden has to be his MVP self. Because when he plays with Kyrie, Harden takes that back step. But now, as of recent, Harden has not been taking that back
ever since Kyrie told him.
You the point guard.
He has not been taking that back seat to Kyrie Irving, and James Harden since then has been averaging 26, 11, and 10. He's averaging a triple-double. Yeah. The Nets are going on a major win streak. So he's figured out how to play with Kyrie. And Blake Griffin is just coming in and saying, Blake is just coming in and saying, look, I'm just going to be the guy that dives for loose balls, defend well, and make the right pass. Yeah. He's a role player now, and he's playing his role. And when I seen him against Portland, that's what he's doing. He's playing his role. Yeah. He picks his spots well, and because of that, I think chemistry won't be a problem. And James Harden, I think he's one of the most underrated leaders in the entire NBA. I mean, he gives Nick Claxton confidence. He even paid his fine when he got a tech. Harden is on the bench telling guys where to be on offensively, defensively. He's really a vocal leader. And I just want to say one last thing about the Heat and the Nets matchup. Okay. Harden almost beat the juggernaut Warriors with no Kyrie Irving. Chris Paul did get hurt, and he was there, so I'm going to give Chris Paul credit. But if you compare this Nets team versus that Rockets team, take out KD, I think they're pretty similar.
What you talking about? James Harden and Kyrie, that team.
James Harden, Kyrie, Harden, and Chris Paul with Capella.
Oh, Ariza. Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, they're similar. Yeah. That's why there is no chance in hell Miami can, with Oladipo, who was on a 15-game losing streak with Houston, a 20-game losing streak with Houston. LaMarcus Aldridge, who is on his last years, he's gonna be done with in a little bit. Bam Adebayo, who I like Bam. I'm not gonna talk trash about him. And then you got the Barnacle Boys and Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson.
The Barnacle Boys?
I like that, the Barnacle Boys.
So and Jimmy Butler, of course, we know he's a dog, but people are underestimating how great and legendary James Harden is. So when they get into a series,
didn't they choke?
Miami will have no chance.
Wait, but didn't they choke?
Yeah, they shot the worst three.
Even if Durant is out, they will have no chance.
I would say this is my last take. Going off what you said, Reef. I just feel like with the chemistry thing, I think you look at the dynasties back in the day, even now, Golden State, what stopped them? Injuries. The big three, they made it their first year. I mean, LeBron didn't play well, but they made it 4 straight times. That was a big three. Golden State, they made the finals 4 straight times. Even Boston's big three and the Lakers' big three, they made it consecutive years. So the Bulls, they made it consecutive years. The Magic and Kareem, dynasties, super talented dynasties, they're gonna win. Aside from injuries and any offset bad one player playing bad, they're gonna either get there or win. So I think it's kind of like inevitable for the Nets to make the finals. It's really just about winning it, because not every great team always wins it, but best believe they're probably gonna make it. History has shown it.
Yeah.
So on to the next segment. We're gonna talk about Kyle Lowry for a little bit.
Okay.
So we thought he was going to get traded to either Miami, the Lakers, or Philly. Kyle Lowry did not get traded. Are you surprised that he didn't get traded?
I'm not surprised, because I saw the offers. They were like, Toronto was asking for, like, when, like, I'm gonna use Philly for an example. You know, they asked for 2 of their Philly's young pieces and a couple draft picks. I would say no too. Kyle Lowry everybody knows he's on a rental. I think we can all agree he's on a collision course to join the Clippers. I could be wrong, but I think that's the way everything is looking. He's on a collision course to join the Clippers. He might join Miami in the offseason too. Okay. You never know. I think he's joining a juggernaut, not a juggernaut, but a high-level play, high-level contender in the offseason. So I think Philly wasn't going to be a team that was going to throw away their whole future just to get Kyle Lowry, a guy who's 36, I believe. And he's good, but he's no superstar. So I think, like, the offer, and like you said, Miami, Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson. Tyler Herro's the future. Yeah. You know, so I don't think giving him up for Kyle Lowry a rental was going to make sense. And it's not something I would do, and especially where Philly's at right now. You know, they're pretty good where they're at right now. I don't think Kyle Lowry was going to put them over the top to beat the big 3 in the Nets. I think they're going to be what they are at this moment in time. If they could beat them now, they could beat them now. If they can't, they can't. Kyle Lowry wasn't going to move it or change. I think same thing with Miami. They're going to be what they are. I don't think that's going to change it, honestly. So I think holding off on those trades and telling them, we don't want to do this, I think that was good for the other teams, especially with Philly, because with James Harden, Houston was doing the same thing. Yeah. They was asking teams for a lot, and they ended up with possibly the worst in getting back Harden. They could have ended up with Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, all these guys.
And Woody.
And they ended up with nothing. So I think Toronto tried to do the same thing to try to finesse, and it didn't work, but they didn't end up as bad as Houston.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Like we said, the offers just weren't there, and a lot of the team, it was about pretty much 2. It was a 2-team race, 3 if you want to include the Lakers. But the teams that were vying for him, they had to give up a lot, especially their young talent. Like I said to you guys a little earlier, I didn't really see the Philly move. I didn't see where he fits in Philly or what he can kind of contribute to Philly. Just because I didn't see where they're going to make him play off the ball, or they're going to make Ben Simmons play off the ball, who isn't a reliable shooter. How is that going to work? Then you're taking spots away from Danny Green and Steph Curry, which I think are better compliments for Ben Simmons, being that he can't shoot. So to have shooters around him, I think kind of brings out his talent. So Philly, I didn't think was a good mix. The Heat, I think he would have fit better on. I would love to have seen Kyle Lowry on the Heat in a Heat uniform. I think he fits better in that system, especially with that culture, to bring championship mentality there as well. I thought he would have fit a lot better, but I don't know. I'm not giving up Tyler Herro, and honestly, it would be hard for me to part ways with Duncan Robinson at that as well if I'm the Heat. So to get an aging Kyle Lowry, 35 years old, like you said, he is a rental.
He's aged.
He's aged. He can still be a starting point guard, in my opinion, on a lot of teams. But like Riff said, he's aged, man. He's kind of at the tail end of his career. So to give up my young pieces who are such a huge contribution to my team, I wouldn't have made that move either if I was a Heat.
Dude, it's 36, right?
He's 36?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's 35, 36.
Up, bro. He's bad old.
I'm super surprised that he didn't get traded, because I thought Toronto was going to be desperate and say, look, we're not going to bring him back anyway, so we're just going to get something for Lowry.
Sorry to cut you off real quick. He turns 36 like right now.
Okay.
Oh, happy birthday.
Today, yeah.
Happy birthday,
Kyle Lowry.
Birthday's today.
March 25th, yeah.
Happy birthday, champ.
Oh, he's an Aries. Shout out to my boy.
Okay. Aries gang.
Okay, so happy birthday, Kyle Lowry. So, you know, for me, I think that I thought they were going to get desperate, and I thought they were going to make a move.
Okay.
And because of that, you know, I thought they were going to trade him, but I'm actually pretty happy that they didn't trade him. I think Kyle Lowry is a Raptors legend. And I think, you know, if he's going to leave the Raptors, let him leave when his contract is up and let him walk. Don't trade him just for anybody, because I think he means too much to that organization to get breadcrumbs back for him. You know, I think if you're going to trade Kyle Lowry, you need to get somebody, you know, that's worthwhile. What I can't believe is the Lakers didn't want to part ways with Taylor Horton Tucker for Kyle Lowry.
He's tough though. I
Like,
can't lie.
Yeah, like Taylor Horton-Tucker has shown flashes.
You saw
but
the trade though. It was
Yeah,
Dennis Schroeder, Taylor Horton-Tucker.
Who was the third? Who was the third person again? I forgot.
Contavious Caldwell Pope. That was kind of like all their shooters, their 3-and-D guys. Like
That's true. That's true.
You think Kyle Lowry's worth those three pieces right there?
I mean,
I think Dennis is really good.
I do think Dennis is really good.
With Lowry, LeBron, AD, Harold, and guys like Kuzma, I think they could have given the Nets a bigger run for the money than having Schroeder and KCP, honestly. But yeah, for me, I think even with Kyle Lowry staying, I don't think the Raptors are in such a horrible position because I think they really stole Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood from the Blazers.
Definitely.
Now they have Gary Trent, who's going to be part of that young core. Norman Powell's leaving. They got Rodney Hood, he can still give you like 10 points per game. I think he can do that once in a while.
Yeah.
And they traded Matt Thomas to Utah. He was such a bad defender. You couldn't really play him. Terrence Davis to Sacramento. So Terrence Davis had some – Terrence Davis, even though he had a good rookie year, he had some locker room problems and off-the-court issues. I think he had some allegations against him and stuff for like sexual misconduct. So, getting him out the locker room I think was actually a benefit to the Toronto Raptors. But like I said, Lowry was a Raptors legend, and I'm glad they didn't trade him for just anybody. But right now they're the 11th seed. Are they going to make the playoffs? We're not sure. I thought they were going to make it, but it seems like right now they're probably not.
They're behind us.
Yeah, and they lost a lot. Losing Marcus All, losing Ibaka, that really hurt. That really hurt.
And is Nick Nurse right now getting exposed as a coach that maybe got too much praise too early?
Exposed?
I wouldn't say last year when Kawhi left, we're like, we didn't expect them to be that good. Then when they finished with the top 3 seed, we're like, oh, Nick Nurse is like a hell of a coach.
Well,
then this year you hear him, having back and forths with Siakam, and really they're not vibing with Nick
I was
Nurse.
always under the fence that even they lost Kawhi, I thought they were going to be a great regular season team, and I thought they were just going to lose big time playoff matchups because they didn't have a guy at the end. And I think paying Fred VanVleet to be your best player, and he's a 6-foot shot chucker. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah,
I think he's best fitted to be like your third best player, but now you're riding with Siakam, who has shown the ability that he can be the best player on your team, and Fred VanVleet. And I think now they're kind of stuck in no man's land. They got 2 big contracts on them, and now they're just trying to get young. I think when they stole from Portland, they tried to do the same with Kyle Lowry, and it didn't pan out. So I think that's a bad. But I think Nick Nurse is still a really good coach. I think he can turn it around. I think Masai Ujiri, he's a really good GM. I just think this team, nobody's going to want to go play for Toronto because of the location. I think this team was best fit to build through the draft. And I think if they can, it's going to be funny how it goes, but I really have a feeling they get the number 1 pick if they don't make the playoffs. Like
wherever they ended up in the lottery.
Yeah, but I just think they're going to get the number 1 pick, and it's just going to be crazy how that just happens.
Imagine that.
Like getting a top 3 pick for them is clean either way.
Yeah. KD, I think on one of his podcasts, well, I don't think I know.
I know what you're about to say.
He said that Nick Nurse isn't an X's and O's guy. He's just like a motivator.
Okay,
that's what he is. So. I mean, KD saying that is probably saying that Nick Nurse, he knows how to get the best out of guys, but he doesn't really put together sound.
He's not a Greg Popovich.
Okay.
I mean, what he's known for is, having a boxing 1 defense on Curry.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's known for to this point. Like,
and the Giannis stopper.
And the wall.
I think he created the wall.
Yeah.
That's a funny way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but they said that teams did that before him.
What, build
in the regular
wall?
season, yeah.
I think it was just because he perfected it.
Yeah,
I want to say
he had the guys to perfect.
Yeah, if you have the guys, then you can do it. I think because people did it before. It's kind of like a zone.
Yeah.
So it's really just a sit-in zone. You just put the best guys, your best wing defenders at the top, and then you had your bigs at the bottom. You had Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam. You can't fail with that. Like, Nick Nurse, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm glad that Kyle Lowry didn't get traded. I was surprised he didn't, but now on to the next topic. Draymond Green. He, whenever he says something, it usually creates headlines. And I'll say this before we start. I think Draymond Green is probably one of the smartest basketball minds that I've listened to.
100%.
When he talks, I listen, especially when it comes to basketball and even important issues. Earlier in the year, he sounded off on guys getting traded and basically their mental health and how, teams treat these players. So I think he always has something really wise to say. And some people may think he said something wise here, and some people may not think so.
It was funny how he did it. He said something, and then he went
followed up.
He went as far as to say,
he said, I'm
the best in history.
What's the funny thing, though, is that Draymond, so what he said is that Draymond said that he is the best defender in NBA history.
Yes.
And what's funny about this is that last year he said this as well, but it didn't create traction. Yeah, in in the 2019 playoffs, I think he said it during the playoffs.
Okay.
That he said he was the best.
Oh, so 2 years because he didn't make the playoffs like that. Okay.
So, but he
maybe
said
because they were winning at the time they allowed it.
Yeah. I mean, he's a one-time defensive player of the year. He's a 5-time all defensive team. And I'll say this: if you're trying to compare accolades and achievements, defensive achievements, Draymond is not top 5. If you want to compare,
I think let's right here. Let's go eye test.
Of course.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to compare achievements, we're not comparing achievements because nowadays when people argue about football or basketball,
because I don't think Rudy Gobert is a top 5 defender.
They say, this guy has more this and that. I think Draymond's the best defender in NBA history.
Okay.
I think so.
No, okay.
And the reason I think so is because Draymond Green has revolutionized the game of basketball so much that you cannot have traditional big men on the court anymore.
That's because of Steph. Wait a minute. Whoa.
Draymond small ball.
Okay, but don't.
We got to give him his roses,
but give Steph his rose. Don't try to do that, though.
What you mean?
That was. Yeah. Don't do that. I see what you're trying to do.
No, Steph's 3-point shot. Of course, we know about the 3-point revolution.
Right.
Are you talking about in terms of the point forward?
But no, small ball, like having a guy that's 6'6".
I'm saying, I'm making sure you.
Okay.
Like, I mean, Draymond Green is the reason why that could excel like it did. Let's be honest. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah,
let's keep it a buck.
I agree with you.
Making sure you good. Steph Curry and everything.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So I think he revolutionized the game of basketball in that way. Like Dennis Rodman, he was not that. Like he was a great defender.
He was a different type of defender. I'm gonna get to it in a minute.
I'm glad you said that.
He was a great defender, but I think when you talk about a guy who can guard 1 through 5, that's Dre. Like Dre has shown the ability to lock up a guy like Anthony Davis, one of the best power forwards in the game, and also switch on to guards, perimeter players. Does a great job on James Harden when he guards him. One of the best offensive player in NBA history.
I disagree on that part. But keep going.
So this is why I think Draymond has revolutionized the position, and when we want people want to talk about like the Tony Allens. I know Tony Allen called Draymond out.
He's up there.
Tony Allen is a great perimeter defender, but he cannot guard bigs.
No,
he cannot guard bigs. Dre can guard bigs. So when you talk about a guy who can guard 1 through 5, like just stick him. Dre is up there. When you talk about a guy that's the backline of the defense, calling out everybody's defensive assignments, being a great help defender, like Draymond is second to none. Like especially right now in the NBA, he's the best by far.
Oh, when he said that, he's by far the best.
Yeah,
defender
watching the Golden State Warriors when they didn't have Draymond, I mean their defense, it tanked. Yeah. Like when he's on the court, they have such a great defense because he's a great help side defender and he puts everybody in place. And when you talk about defense, you have to consider all those things, not just who's the best perimeter defender and then go by that.
You made some solid
That's a great
points.
take.
No, Draymond reminds me of peak LeBron defensively. Like Miami Heat LeBron defensively. Like he's 1 through 5, he's everywhere.
Okay.
Like but I want to say this cuz it's hard to assess defense because every era was different. Before defense was just, when you talk about bigs defensively, they just had to guard bigs and they was the backbone of the defense. Now in the league, it's more versatility. So Draymond's that guy he's versatile in a sense. And then with guards, they can't guard bigs because they're just too small.
Yeah.
Now, when he said he was the best defender in the league, I agreed with him 100%. He's by far. Like that Rudy Gobert, it's good to win DPOY. It's good. Yeah. It's not it's good to win it. Yeah. But, DPOY just really attains to stats. Like it just looks at stats. It doesn't talk they don't eye test it. Eye test Draymond Green is the best defender in the league. Now, all time is where it gets tricky. There's guys like Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Ben Wallace, Tim Duncan, all these guys. And the thing that's keeping Draymond Green in the conversation is his versatility. Like Joel said, he can guard 1 through 5. But I think it's hard to I have him in my top 5. To say 1, it's hard because when I look at defense, I look at who you locked up and I look at the type of defenses you've anchored. So Draymond Green is up there. I have to throw Ben Wallace in my 5. Because he locked up the most, not locked up, he contained the most unstoppable force in NBA history in Shaq. And he anchored those Detroit Pistons defenses that were great teams. I have to put Tim Duncan up there. He anchored the Spurs defense for decades. Kawhi Leonard has to be in that conversation. Scottie Pippen. So I think overall, Joel has a point. Like when you talk about versatility, telling people where they are, his off-ball defense, I think that goes to show, like, Draymond is up there. But I think, like, perimeter defense, you have to kind of, like, break it down. Like, so perimeter defense, would Draymond be the best? I don't think so. I think guys like Kawhi Leonard, Scottie Pippen, GP, Tony Allen, that's, I think, why Tony Allen jumped in and said even MJ and Kobe, those are the guys you would put.
Yeah.
Talk about post defense, though. Now you throw Draymond up there with the Tim Duncans, the KGs, those guys like that. But I think to say he's number one is just hard to assess because of the generations and how different it is. Like, versatility wasn't really a big thing. Like, we talk about Dennis Rodman, that's probably the closest thing to Draymond back in the day, but he wasn't as versatile as Draymond because it was a different game.
Yeah.
So now, with all that being said, I want to ask you, you said Draymond Green guards 1 through 5. He locks up guys like AD, Blake Griffin. He's done that to Blake Griffin 1,000 times. Like, he just and he guards James Harden.
Kevin Love too.
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
No, yeah. Oh, every year, every time they played. Yeah. So, but I want to ask you, bigs like Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, KG, they had to see each other. So I want you to plug Draymond in the West. When he plays Tim Duncan 4 times, KG 4 times, Chris Webber 3-4 times, Shaq 4 times, do you think he would still be as acclaimed as he is right now?
Yes, with this same roster, like bringing that, if we're bringing
plug
this,
in
this
the
Golden State roster to like Steph Curry.
What would you say would be his best defensive year with
2016,
KD?
2016.
Oh, so without KD. Okay, so plug in that team into that.
Okay.
We plug it into those eras where we know the game was slower paced and they have not advanced the 3-point shot like they did. I think the Warriors beat them. They like
I know they're gonna beat them. I'm just saying Draymond specifically.
They are going to beat them on defense because as great as Hakeem is, I don't see him chasing around Steph Curry around the screen.
Right.
You know, I don't see him keeping up with Draymond in pick and roll situations and doing that. You know, these guys get exposed, you know.
But now switch it. Now they have to play offense to defense. You got a 7-foot guy that can virtually do anything. And Draymond is kind of going to be out there on the island on his own. Do you trust, because with defensive guys, like you trust Kawhi on the island by himself.
Yeah.
You trust Scottie on the island you trust Tim Duncan with any big on the island by himself. You trust Ben Wallace at all times. Do you trust Draymond to, on an island, put him with the best bigs ever? Shaq, Hakeem, guys like that. Chris Webber, Tim Duncan, KG. Like, do you trust him? Do you trust him even with the wings? You know, he switch offs. He has to guard T-Mac. He has to guard Vince Carter. He even switch offs. He has to guard Kobe. Like, do you trust him in those situations as great as you think he is?
I trust him with the wings 100%. I don't trust him with the bigs because of the weight difference. Because Shaq is 300 pounds and what is Draymond, like 240?
Yeah,
give or
like
take,
that.
you know.
Yeah.
So because of that, I don't trust them with the bigs like that because they were such a dominant force. But with the wings and guards, I trust them 100% when you're talking about that.
I agree. I'll take him with wings and guards. Bigs, like Joel said, that weight difference, you know, I'm thinking of bigs like Hakeem, Shaq, Joel Embiid. Like, those are too dominant for a Draymond to handle. But to me, honestly, I'm a Draymond fan. I think he's best in help defense. I think he's one of the best help defenders in NBA history and in the
100%.
league now. So I'd rather him help off the big as opposed to, you know, be on an island with the bigs. But I don't think his and to take it back to the original question, I don't think what he said was outlandish.
Yeah, when people were, I was like,
yeah, when the media really blew this up, I think it was warranted. I think it was justified. You know, it's and I love that he's talking about defense. You know, taking pride in defense. Like, I think the Tony Allen reaction was kind of, you know, a little unnecessary, but I
liked it.
I love to see the back and forth. But to me, I think he's one of the best defenders in NBA history because of his versatility. Because he can guard 1 through 5, he can switch. Like I said, he is one of the best help defenders. He is, you know, the team anchor on defense. But he's underrated, man. Draymond Green's highly underrated and underappreciated. Obviously not by the Warriors, but just by society and basketball fans. Man, he doesn't get his just due. I'll be honest.
I think.
I mean, you tried to do that earlier in the segment.
Now, I think what benefits Draymond is that he's the best defender in the most explosive offensive era ever.
True.
Like, in an era where guards and wings are like out here scoring a whole bunch. He can guard them. So I think that's what's always going to put Draymond like, all right, well, you know, he can switch off. He can guard the Kawhis. He can guard the Hardens. He can guard the KDs. That's going to put him at the top, whereas the guys that we had before, it was more big men ran eras. So they were like, you know, guarding bigs and stuff. So it's like, it's different. He's a different type of big, you know. He's never going to be like, he couldn't I would have loved to see him guard the KGs, the Tim Duncan, but he's guarding guys like AD, who's more like a big wing, guys like Blake Griffin. So it's like in his era, that's always going to benefit him in being locking up the most offensive era. That's what I think is going to benefit him.
Okay, I think him guarding AD gives him a case that he can guard KG.
Yeah, because they're kind of like the same. Yeah, they're kind of like the same. I agree with you.
But I'll say this, everybody loves to. You mentioned it. You said it perfectly. People underappreciate Draymond, and I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
There is this narrative because Draymond Green doesn't score a lot of points that he got carried by the Warriors.
I hate that speak, man.
There would have never been a Golden State Warriors dynasty without Draymond Green. I know Steph Curry was the catalyst.
I agree.
I think Klay Thompson.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Klay Thompson was not the second most important player. It was Draymond. It was Draymond and then Klay. And I love Klay, but Draymond was more important.
I'm with you.
So there will be no Golden State Warriors without Draymond Green. There would have never been any dynasty. And the same guys that are talking about how Draymond Green got carried by the Warriors are the same LeBron haters that say that are the same LeBron haters that would have said that Golden State would have won if Draymond played in Game 5.
Yeah,
these are the same guys that say, "Oh, Draymond Green is not that important," but then, "Oh, if he never gets suspended in Game 5, Golden State wins the championship. LeBron doesn't have another ring."
Yeah.
So you can't have both. Draymond was super important, and when he did get suspended in Game 5, we saw that.
Yeah.
We saw that they are missing something. That's why, when they had KD, we knew that KD was going to be the guy to fit in there because we knew that they already had their guys with Dre and Klay.
Yeah.
And Dre was the most important. Like, Dre, I think, is really underappreciated. He's going to be underappreciated in the history books because he doesn't score much.
Yeah.
But when you look at his passing, his passing is the next level.
I think guys like that are always underappreciated. Him, Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman. I think those guys always going to get underappreciated because they did the dirty work, and I think it just doesn't get appreciated at how they go in there and they do all the grind out work. And people nowadays people don't appreciate defense as much. So I think people listen. I'll be on Twitter. I'll be mad as hell when Draymond scored 2 points, 0 points because the way he does it, he just passes up open layups.
Yeah,
but when those finals runs, Draymond wasn't no 2 point per game scorer.
No, he was putting up numbers.
And he can shoot the three at that time. So he wasn't no scrub.
That's 30 in Game 7.
Yeah, he wasn't no scrub. Now he be getting me mad, but he wasn't no scrub before. So I think during the run, I agree. I thought you were going somewhere else with that, but no, I agree. Without Draymond Green, there is no Golden State dynasty. I thought you could say he's more important than Steph. I really thought that's where you were going.
No,
I was come on, bro. It's close, but come on. You know who's number one. Yeah. I agree with you, though. Draymond is more important than Klay. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Especially during those dynasty years.
Yeah, I think because when Klay, a lot of people forgot, Klay had a lot of stinkers and a lot of finals. He didn't play all too well. We know Klay for Game 6, but he was in a lot of stinkers, and nobody cared because he plays defense all day. So
on to the next topic. Somebody else came out and said something. This time it was Charles Barkley. I listened to the clip because Reef had told me that the media kind of they overblew it.
Oh, they did.
And the same thing happened.
They misconstrued his words.
The same thing happened with the Steve Kerr quote about KD.
Exactly.
They overblew that as well. But talking about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley said that James Harden is the best player in basketball today.
Yeah.
And
this is him clarifying.
Yes. And Barkley also said, this is me clarifying it as well. He said, although Jordan and Kobe are better offensive players, he thinks that James Harden is the best offensive player that he has ever seen. Yeah. So Barkley,
I don't get it.
Yes, because he saw Kobe and Jordan, so I really don't get it either.
Is he trying to save face by
probably? He's basically saying that I know the consensus is these two guys are better than Harden, but for me, I'm taking Harden.
Okay.
So he believes Harden is the best offensive player to play basketball. And I'm gonna go last on this because I got something to say. Okay, I want you to go first because I know you don't agree with this.
I don't agree to an extent. I think offense. I'm glad he kept his when he said, "Oh my God,
it's coming on."
Yeah, here we go.
It's coming on, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't do it while he's.
Fear the beard. Fear the beard.
Yo, this guy is crazy.
That joint is clean.
Oh man. All right, so Ask me the question to give.
Look, I'll go first because you're distracted by the beautiful beard.
I got it. I want to say this. I got it. When he talks about offense, like I'm glad they said offense because if we were just talking scoring, it's not close. It's Michael Jordan without a doubt. But we're talking about offense, which means playmaking is added into the offense. And is he the best? You can make an argument. Now, I'm sure Joel has a strong argument. I'm not gonna lie, there's probably gonna be some things I can't disagree with because James Harden is one of the most prolific passers in the NBA right now. He's one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA right now. So it's gonna be things where I'm gonna be like, you can make an argument for James Harden being number one offensively, like strictly just offense. I want to say this though. I want to give some headshine on the guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe, who were great passers, not as good as James Harden. I'm not saying they were, but they were great passers that played in a system where they couldn't showcase that, which is,
I agree.
If everybody doesn't know, it's called the triangle. The triangle puts your best player in the best position to score the ball. It doesn't showcase much of your playmaking. So guys who, we all see Michael Jordan before the triangle was putting up 7-8 assists. He was averaging triple-double at one point at the point guard spot. He can be a great playmaker. It's just when they played in the triangle, obviously you can't showcase that. Steph Curry is also, I think James Harden's a better offensive player because of his playmaking, but Steph Curry is also up there in terms of offensive player of all time. I think he's definitely up there in that conversation. But when you talk about James Harden being the number one offensive player ever, I ain't gonna lie, it could be. It's like you can't say definitively no,
and you can't say definitively yes,
but you can't call it blasphemy because I believe he's top 5 offensive player.
It's justified. It's legit
justified because you can throw KD up there, but KD's not a playmaker like that. Like it's just terms of scoring, you can say KD. But offensive, like you're putting the total package in there. James Harden might be top 3. I ain't gonna lie.
For me, it's not a debate for me. And look, I have no reason to be biased. I have no reason to say that James Harden.
You got the beard. I'm talking about. I can't be biased.
Offensive player ever. I have no incentive to say this.
Okay.
I just go by what I see. I will be honest. I did not see Jordan. I was too young for that. But I did see Kobe. Okay. I did see Kobe. I did see Harden. And when we talk about the best offensive players of all time, we often talk about Jordan, Kobe, and then Harden. He gets brought up. Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of all time, said that James Harden is the best offensive player he's ever seen. He played against Kobe. He's seen Kobe up close. He said James Harden is the best he's ever seen. If you want to argue longevity, Harden is not there. Same thing with Draymond. Harden has 21,000 career points.
Are you going to bring up LeBron? LeBron has to be in this conversation.
I know. No, I'm saying, look, Harden 22,000. He's about to hit 22,000. So if we're talking longevity, no. But I compare James Harden to the 2 players that he's often compared to. But first, I'm going to say this. James Harden in 2019 had 32 straight games with 30 points. That's the longest since the NBA merger and second all time. Wilt is the only other guy to do it.
He doesn't count.
And Wilt played in like an
Nobody
era.
counts.
He doesn't count, bro. Don't even count.
Wilt played in an era where like they had 80 more possessions a game. So Harden would have definitely had that.
They played us.
And just to dispute your point about the triangle offense, it's an offense to put your scorers in the best positions to score. Yeah. That's telling me Harden would average more points. Maybe not assists. He would have had a lot of assists, but in terms of points, he would have had more points.
I would have to disagree.
Especially having a mid-range game, adding that to his game.
Wait. Yeah. Wait. Before you continue, you can't say that because in this era, he takes more threes than both of them, than Jordan and Kobe. So he's gonna, if he takes more threes than we all know they take the same amount of free throws. Yeah. So I know that for a fact. But he takes more threes than both of them. And in James Harden, in order for you to put James Harden always has the ball, so he always decides what's gonna happen. Yeah. In a triangle, you don't always decide what's gonna happen. Yeah. It could be a time where somebody else takes the ball or somebody else takes the shot.
I get that, but listen. I put Jordan's best scoring years, Kobe's best scoring year, and Harden's best scoring year all together.
I bet you Kobe's not even close.
We are going to start with James Harden 2018-2019 season. Okay. He averaged 36 points per game, 7.5 assists per game, 6.6 rebounds, had a 118 offensive rating. Sheesh. 48.3 points per game per 100 possessions. He had a 9.4 offensive box plus minus, 11.4 offensive win shares, and 61.6 true shooting percentage, and he shot 11 free throws per game. Jordan, 1985, 1986, he averaged 37 points per game, so he averaged more points than James Harden. He averaged 4.6 assists per game, so less assists than Harden. I think this was before Phil Jackson came, so this was not the triangle.
This was Doug.
Yeah, this was him playing freely. He had a 117 offensive rating, lower than James Harden. An 8.4 offensive box plus minus, lower than James Harden. And an 11.9 offensive win shares, so that is higher than James Harden, but a 56% true shooting percentage, which
his jump shot was
which is lower than James Harden as well. And he shot 11.9 free throw attempts per game, so that's more than Harden. And then we go on to Kobe, 2005-2006 when he was playing with Smush Parker and those guys. 35 points per game, which is lower than Harden and Jordan. 4.5 assists per game, which is lower than Harden and 0.1 lower than Jordan. 114 offensive rating, lower than Harden. 7.4 offensive box plus minus, lower than Harden. 11.6 offensive win shares, a little bit higher than Harden, not as high as Jordan. And then he had a 56% true shooting percentage, lower than Harden. And then when we talk, and he had 10.2 free throw attempts per game, so around the same as Harden.
Okay.
And then we often hear the argument, what about the usage percentage? Harden, has such a high usage percentage.
I think they're all the same, right?
Harden's best scoring season, he had a 40.5 usage percentage. In Jordan's, he had a 38.3.
Okay.
And in Kobe's, he had a 38.7. So they are pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I would say when you're ranking their best scoring seasons and their best offensive seasons, James Harden comes away as the best offensive scoring season as all time. And I think Harden is number one in points per possession all time, which means how many points does he generate per possession? He's number one all time. You mentioned it. As a scorer, I'll probably take Jordan. I'll probably take Kobe. Actually, I won't take Kobe. I'll probably take Jordan. I would take KD. But when we're talking about an all-around offense, we're talking about passing. I mean, James Harden as a passer is here, and those guys are here. So because of that, we're talking about scoring, which Harden is pretty even with them at. And then you bring in passing. I think Harden is the best offensive player that's ever played the game. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Harden fan.
He made some good points.
I don't have an incentive to say this. It's not like I'm wearing a beard on my face. I'm not, this is just me being genuine. It's me being real about the game of basketball. And I think James Harden, people love to laugh at the fact that
he's a loser.
He's not going to. No, people like to laugh at the fact that he's not with these top guys, but he is. And people are still trying to kind of cast him out that debate with Dwayne Wade as who's better. James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade. I think all time too. He's better than Dwayne Wade.
You want to go ahead?
I have a question.
Okay. Let me say this real quick. Then, the reason why he's not on their level is because you just look at the careers. Like, MJ 6 rings, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 MVPs. Kobe is like, all right, but like Jordan, the reason why you kind of like just look at their life and just see what's going on. No, what did I say? You were gonna make some strong points, and it was like it's hard to disagree with your points. I want to say one thing though, like you talking about offense. You didn't say LeBron. I don't know why.
Yeah,
you didn't say LeBron.
I was gonna ask, where's LeBron in this conversation?
Yeah, that's what I really want to get at. Where's LeBron?
I'll say this too. What also puts Harden over the top for me is that he plays with the beard that I don't know how he plays with. I was wearing it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It is annoying. It gets really hot under there. So I'll give him some extra points for that too. But yes, LeBron is definitely there. I'm not gonna lie, LeBron is there. But when we're talking about as a playmaker,
go ahead. Go ahead. Who's better?
I think
it's similar. It's similar.
I said who's better. I didn't actually what's similar.
It's similar.
Who would you choose? Non-Harden, non-bias. Who's the better playmaker?
I think when you talk about like who makes the better passes, I think LeBron.
Who makes their team better?
That's close. That's really close. I'm not gonna lie. It's really close.
Have you seen what LeBron has done?
I was gonna say.
No, I think LeBron and Harden are the two guys in the NBA.
They're the best.
I agree.
The only two guys in the NBA that can literally carry like garbage teams. LeBron could do it further though. But I think LeBron can do it further. LeBron could do it further because he's 6'8", 260.
So you're saying size
and
plays
his defense is elite, right?
Okay.
But we talk about playmaking first, passing ability. I think it's pretty even. I would give the edge to LeBron only because of IQ. I think IQ, he has that edge. But as a scorer, I would give Harden the edge.
I agree.
Yeah. That's why I like that Charles said best offensive player and not best scorer, because if we're talking scorer, I'm choosing KD, I'm choosing Mike, I'm choosing Kobe. So when we talk about in terms of offensive player, he has a valid point, but I just can't put Harden over LeBron. I think LeBron is the better offensive player, just more well-rounded, more complete, but Harden is the better scorer. But you can say he's the better offensive player. That's why I kind of agreed with Charles when he said he's a better offensive player than Mike and Kobe. Let me just say this for the record. I did not grow up watching Mike, so I won't go there, but I did, get to catch Kobe. And in terms of scoring, I feel like they're better scorers. I feel like they can score at all three levels, back to the basket, mid-range especially. They couldn't get the long range, so I feel like that's where Harden definitely gets the edge. He's definitely a better three-point shooter, more consistent three-point shooter. But his ability to play make, his ability to score at such a high clip and make his teammates better and put up easily 10, 11 assists a night, you got to give it to him. He's put up astronomical numbers throughout his entire career, but to a better scorer, no, but best playmaker, to me, I'll put it up there with him and LeBron. But I'm giving the edge to LeBron.
I even said it once. I said, if we're moving Harden to the point guard position, he's the best point guard of all time. I would put him over Magic.
Yo, what is wrong with you?
Well, why do you do that?
Why do we
do the all
time?
Because I just feel like
you can't
eras
do
are
that.
different, generations are different. Like the style of basketball changes per era, so
You're comparing
it's tough.
You're comparing a true point guard. Like Magic was a
Yeah.
true point guard to a guy who was a two guard, came in just scoring and decided I'm gonna be a one now.
No, he was always a true point.
No,
He was a combo at Arizona State.
nah.
Come on, bro.
He was always a true point.
Like Magic was a true point guard.
He played the point guard in OKC. It wasn't Russ was always the two. He was more.
I'm saying, but he's like a combo though.
We're not saying Harden's a true point guard.
He's
though,
not a
are
true
we?
point
I don't
guard.
think he's a true point guard.
I mean,
Don't do that. First of all, he's not better than Steph.
That's
Well,
rough.
yeah, let me get back to that.
What is a
That's
true
rough.
point guard in today's game? It's like Ricky
Chris Paul.
Rubio's, Lonzo's, and Chris Paul.
I think Chris Paul's the epitome.
last
of
thing.
a
He's
true
the
point
last
guard,
The
thing.
true
yeah.
point guards are kind of died out,
Because it's a different era. That's
It's
what,
a score.
That's what
Yeah,
Reef
it's
is going back
it's
to.
a
Like,
scoring era.
he's right. It is hard to compare eras because the atmosphere, the condition, it's different. The game is just completely different.
Yeah.
So like I said, I watch Jordan on YouTube all the time, but I'm gonna stretch it. I'm just gonna cut it off and go from 2000 to now.
Yeah.
I do agree with Joel though. James Harden is the best offensive player. Like we're gonna just cut out. James Harden is the best. I think he's a better offensive player than Kobe. I think he's a better offensive player than KD. I think he's the better offensive player than Steph. I think he is the best offensive player like we have in this game. I think number 2 though is Steph though. I ain't gonna lie.
I won't disagree.
LeBron and Steph. I think
that's the
Harden,
thing, I
LeBron,
won't-
and Steph
yeah.
got to be the 3.
If you had to give me Harden or LeBron as the answer for the question,
Well, they
I
are
would take either
without
or.
a doubt the best floor raisers we've ever seen.
Yeah.
No, well, them two, yeah, those two are the best floor raisers we've ever seen in NBA history.
Yeah.
So those would be like, and with floor raising, it comes with that certain responsibility, the ability to do both, be that primary playmaker and be that scorer in times when your team needs. So I think those two are definitely the top 2 guys at that.
Yeah.
And like Joel said, playmaking, James Harden has really asserted himself as one of the better playmakers in our game.
I agree.
So I think I wouldn't go too far as to say he's the best point guard ever. I think Magic still holds that spot. But I think I think
you've argued before Steph could hold that spot over Magic.
yeah, but
I would argue that
I
as
wouldn't
well.
put Harden as a 1 ever. Like I would say he's just a 2. Like I wouldn't.
But I think if Harden were to make that decision that I'm a full-time 1, I think he's better than Steph at the 1.
you're a silly rabbit.
We don't have enough track record.
Yeah, he's been a 1 for
He's
like.
I mean,
been a-
2016
'cause
when
he
he
played-
averaged 11 assists, and this year too.
But Pat
That's
Bev
2
was the
years.
one. He was just
Yeah.
bringing the ball up. See, it's different. Like
Yes, but okay.
It's hard.
Yeah,
bro.
it's
No.
hard.
But okay, Pat Bev is the one on paper, but the one when you watch the game is Harden.
But
So
he
there's
only
been
played a
the-
true
so then
point
if that's
guard
the
1
case,
year though.
Steph is not the one. Draymond is the one.
You could argue that as well.
Steph is legit not the
Yeah.
one. But that's besides the point. We're not comparing. You wanted to go to Steph Harden route.
Facts.
Not comparing
No,
that.
I'm just telling you that if you think Harden has a debate over Magic and all-time point guards,
I just
and
think-
I think Harden's a better point guard than Steph, he has a debate
Harden-
over
no, 'cause
I
Magic
just think
too.
it's unfair because he hasn't been a true point guard long enough. Like this year right now with Brooklyn is this. You correct me if I'm wrong. You're the James Harden
it's like
guy.
his third,
But I
fourth
think
year
it's
playing
his
one?
second. Is this his second or third year like playing true point guard?
Since
like designated
D'Antoni
point
got
guard.
to Houston, he's been playing a 1. So I would
Even
say
with
about
CP
5.
there.
Yeah, they took turns.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
they
say
took
say
turns.
this. Like it's hard to compare eras regardless. I
Yeah.
think like now if we can go Harden, Curry for the best point guard in our era, and
Yeah.
obviously Magic. He's just set the standard. But I think like when you're talking about like true point guards, I think Chris Paul is like the lasting guy of this era to be like a true point guard. I think Lonzo, but he's not at that
level
yet.
LaMelo, I think you put
LaMelo, you can put him
tough.
up there.
He's
I think
tough.
those would be the guys. But yeah, Harden, I think like when people talk about it all the time, it's hard for me to put Harden, because when you talk about it all the time, you talk about everything, totality of everything. And I think what Harden is missing, we all know Harden's better than D-Wade. We know that. But I think D-Wade, the image we have of D-Wade and that run he had is so, like, it's nostalgia for us. It's like it's sitting and lasting in our brains. Like, Harden has to get that one for him to go over D-Wade. Like, we know he's a better player, but when you have that type of legendary run, and Harden hasn't had that yet, it's hard to cement him over him. But I think when it's all said and done with Harden, he'll probably end up 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's why I say that I don't think Harden will ever end up better than Kobe, because he's missing those 5 championships.
Okay.
And I think Harden maybe,
and the impact of Kobe on those 5 championships.
I think Harden maybe
He'll never catch
he
MJ.
could get to 1. He could maybe get to, I think he'll get to 3 at most.
Yeah, the most would be 3,
Okay.
in my opinion.
But Kobe just has too many championships where he's done it with Shaq and as the man.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll ever get to Kobe. The reason he could get to Wade is because Wade
He got
won the
hurt.
chip by himself, but then kind of got carried by LeBron with the other 2. He wouldn't have had those chips without LeBron.
I would
if
say
he goes there.
I would say with Wade, he probably, if LeBron plays a little better, D-Wade wins that Finals MVP with Dallas. If they win that, I think D-Wade wins that one.
Yeah.
But I think with D-Wade, his longevity and his prime isn't what Harden's is. I think Harden, because D-Wade, the knee injuries, and I think he was carrying teams. Like, he was a good floor raiser. He was carrying them to first-round exits, so you got to give him some credit for that. He was leading his team in points, assists, rebounds, and steals. But I think in terms of, like, Harden was leading teams like him, bad teams, but further. And his longevity is longer. So
and
he's
in the West.
Yeah, in the West. In the West. So, like, it's going to be – Harden's going to cement him immediately once he gets 1. I think with Wade, it's just the knee problems.
No MVPs either.
Yeah, he didn't get an MVP because he could have got one, but his team wasn't that good. So, it's like Harden's going to cement him early as soon as he gets the first ring.
Yeah.
Harden, the 3rd best shooting guard ever.
That debate starts to happen and goes in Harden's favor.
Yeah.
The D-Wade and Harden?
Yeah. As soon
I
as
don't
Harden
think it's
gets
really
one,
a debate.
It's not, but it is.
D-Wade or Harden?
I would take Harden.
Okay.
I'll take Harden too, but I think the nostalgia is
right now. I mean, in terms of their overall career,
Harden.
I think.
Don't get me wrong, I love D-Wade, but Harden. I love D-Wade, but Harden. I would take D-Wade just because of bias.
Yeah, like I would take D-Wade right now.
I just love D-Wade. Like, that's really it.
But like you said, once Harden starts, getting some championships, then I can fully put him over D-Wade. Right now, I'm still hesitant.
He's already. Some people still have AI over him. I don't know why.
Over who?
Harden. I don't know why. I think AI just is.
I think it's the attachment, the allure,
the
allure idea of
the
AI,
swagger
and what
of
he's
AI.
meant for the game.
Yeah, but I have Harden over AI.
Yeah. I don't know why people still have AI over Harden.
Harden,
I don't think
AI
he
is
should be
no
over.
longer top 5, right? No, he is. He is
What, top 5 guards?
Yeah, he's the 5th best 2 guard ever. Harden's 4.
I think some people go off of your impact and what you meant to the game. Like, does that factor in when we say how great somebody is?
No, because
like,
then Steph would be top 5 ever.
But also, I think AI just leading the Sixers to the finals. That
was tough too.
No, I really believe it's the nostalgia of AI, like what he meant for young kids growing up, like the swag, the cornrow, the do-rags in the games, the no practice. I think like that set a lasting memory. Because if people remember, like, a lot of people don't notice, but a few times in his runs, he got outplayed by old Reggie Miller. Kobe locked him up. Like there was the times where he folded, but people don't remember that because people don't go back and they just remember AI. Finals run. Oh, AI did this for me. He did that for me. He making me want to play ball. Like that's what it is. People don't actually go dig in deep onto basketball, and I think that's what. But we're watching Harden play, and we have so much criticism of Harden because we're actually seeing it live on TV.
Yeah.
For people back then, people don't go back and look it up. So I think that's what it really is, honestly.
So now going into the next topic of this show, we're going to talk about players that are playing currently and talk about the MVP race. LeBron James is out. He's hurt. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So is Embiid. I think to this point, Embiid and LeBron are kind of disqualified from the MVP race because they are going to be hurt for so long.
And it's a tight race.
Yep. So now my question to you guys is, as it stands, who is your MVP right now?
I have 2. Dame and Harden. I think those are the 2 guys.
I have
think
the exact.
I'm
same.
sorry.
I have the
I'm sorry.
exact
3.
same.
I'm so sorry. I forgot the Joker. Silly me. Yeah, I have those
Smack
three guys.
yourself.
Yeah, I had to. Silly me.
Yeah.
I have those three guys. I think like with Dame and Harden, injuries. I think injuries have like them playing at a high level while losing their best guys with Nets being KD and CJ and Nurkic missing a lot of time, and them still propelling their team and playing at a high level. I think that's what's going to keep them up. I think the Joker, he's just been so consistent all year with the level of great play that he's playing. He's averaging triple-double or damn near triple-double, and he's leading his team in about 10 to 12 categories. So that's ridiculous. I think Luka is creeping. You know, he's on his way. They're starting to win more, and he's playing at that high level. I think he's coming up. But I think, you know, at first we had about 8 guys who possibly could have been MVP, but I think Steph's team is we just realized they're just not going to be good enough. Embiid and LeBron are going to miss a lot of time. Giannis is creeping too. That's another guy who people are going to say he shouldn't be MVP because we gave it to him twice, but you can't knock the fact that he's playing at an MVP level.
Of course.
So he's creeping, but those would be my 3 right now who I think will probably end up with it. It's funny because I think we all said Dame was like a dark horse in the offseason. It's crazy how that just flipped around. So Dame, Harden just creeped up too. So Dame, Harden, and Jokic would be my top 3.
I'm aligned with that. My top 2 would definitely be Dame and Harden. Dame's averaging 30 right now.
He's crazy.
This dude is torching the entire league, which he's been doing now, but he's starting to get more shine and a lot more recognition. Harden, I can't underestimate what he's doing in Brooklyn and how he was able to turn things around, coming from the Rockets. Like I said earlier, I was kind of against the trade. The way Harden was playing in Houston, being very ball dominant, I didn't really think it was going to work out, to be honest, but he's definitely changed my mind, and I know he's changed like a lot of the media's perception and the way he's leading his team. I believe Brooklyn's second in the East right now. Third in the East right now. The way he's making his teammates better, and the way he's just been fitting seamlessly into that organization, and his leadership is really being highlighted right now. We can't underestimate that. Joker is the sleeper. And it's getting to a point, like, when you see with the MVP races, is like these dudes are doing this at such a consistent level that we kind of become numb to it. But what he's turning the big man into right now and how versatile he is, and like you said, he's the league leader in his team in points, assists, rebounds. Like, he's
damn near everything.
And somebody who I wish, if they were playing from the jump, this might be a hot take, maybe, if he was playing from the start, I would put Kyrie in there. If he didn't miss so many games, and because he's averaging like 28 right now. Like, I love seeing him as a shooting guard. I feel Kyrie should have always been a 2 guard. So now he could just focus on scoring. But I feel like if he played more, I would have him up there as well. But right now I'm rolling with James over Dame just because Brooklyn's playing a lot better than the Blazers are. But my top 3 would definitely be Dame, Harden, and Joker for sure.
You know what he's gonna say.
See, I like that. I would say this. I'm gonna say this. I don't have Dame.
You don't? Okay.
Yes.
I respect it.
I know that he's playing at MVP level, but I wanted to, have this down to a top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What's your top 3?
If we are going,
I feel like he has Luka in there.
If we are going by the category that MVP is always gone by, right?
You might have Jimmy.
He's a sleeper.
No, it's a good one.
Yeah.
The MVP has always been about who's the player with the best stats on the best team.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that, 2 guys come to mind. James Harden, averaging 25 and 11, 7.9 rebounds per game. He's damn near averaging a triple-double. His efficiency is damn near the same where it was in Houston. And the Nets are third in the East. They were second before they lost to Utah at 30 and 15. And then the second guy is Giannis. They are the second. They're the second seed in the East right now. He's averaging 28, 11, and 6. And if we're going by that MVP criteria, your stats and your team's record, Giannis should be the MVP today if the season were to end. But because
he's like 8th.
Yeah.
But because he's been a 2-time MVP, but because voters are numb to him, but because he's had some playoff stinkers, the media and fans are extremely biased towards that pick. But if we are talking about the criteria that the MVP is going by, Giannis should be in the MVP. He should be the number 1 guy in the race right now, maybe Harden. Harden or Giannis won't win the MVP. The reason for that, even if they have good records, the reason for that is because Harden's on Brooklyn and they have Kyrie, KD. Even though KD's not playing much, there's still that perception.
It's going to offset him.
Yeah.
And also, oh, Harden has won an MVP and he's finished second so many years. Oh, we don't want to give it to Harden. And Giannis because he's a 2-time MVP. So then we get into the territory, okay, so who's my third guy? As much as I love Dame,
has to be the Joker.
it has to be Nikola Jokic.
It has to.
Like, it has to be Nikola Jokic.
He's gonna set history.
I couldn't see anybody else.
No, that's understandable.
27, 11, 8.5 assists. He's basically doing what James Harden is doing. Just flip the assists and rebounds.
Yeah.
He's averaging the rebounds and he assists 1.6 steals per game. He's been very active on defense, 57% from the field and 42% from three. Not only is Jokic probably the MVP frontrunner right now, but I think he should be the most improved player frontrunner. He had a 7-point jump, a 2-rebound jump, a 1.5 assist jump, 4% better from the field, and 11% better from the three. So I think not only could he be the MVP, he could be the most improved player. And the Nuggets right now, they're 26-18. They're 5th in the West. The reason I have him over Dame is because Joker's averaging 3 less points than Dame, but everything else, Joker's better than. Like, I mean, assists and rebounds, he's better than.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the Nuggets record. They're only a half game above the Portland Trailblazers. So because of that, I would have Jokic over Dame by, like, that notch. I have, like, a pretty good space between them. I think Joker has a pretty good lead over Dame right now. And, yeah, I mean, I think Jokic is probably the MVP frontrunner because of the narratives that surround the MVP award.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to go to Harden or Giannis this year.
Yeah, I think like with Harden, it's the same thing happened in Golden State. You know, KD and Curry would continuously offset it. They didn't even make the same All NBA team. You know, they didn't make, neither of them made the first team. So I think that's gonna, you know, kind of offset Harden. He's playing with Kyrie, who's playing at an MVP level. KD, when he went out, he was playing at an MVP level. When he's come back, whenever he comes back, he's probably going to be playing at the same level.
Yeah.
Giannis, 2-time MVP. I don't know why they keep comparing the playoffs to the regular season, but they're going to continue to do it, even though I feel like we should have 2 different awards. But
bingo,
they're going to keep doing it, even though it has nothing to do with the regular season. He's playing at an MVP level. So it really does come down to the Joker and Dame, and obviously the Joker consistently has been dominating all year. His stats have shown it. He leads the league in win share. He leads the league in every statistical category, honestly.
Dude is,
you know, Dame, I'm gonna give him some flowers because he's been balling.
Yeah.
You know, Dame doesn't get a lot of love in the MVP race, so you got to give him some love. But I think inevitably it'll probably go down to the Joker unless Embiid can come back and just put the league on tear again, or LeBron. But I think inevitably it's probably going to go down to the Joker.
If we're being honest, I think if Embiid comes back, I think Embiid is already disqualified from the MVP race because of the games missed.
I think so.
I think LeBron still has a shot, though, only because he is LeBron. And because of the narrative surrounding him and his age and all the other politics you want to, you know, put into the MVP award, it's going to help LeBron out. Yeah. So, and especially if the Lakers drop down to like an 8 seed or 7 seed in LeBron's absence,
no offense,
Philly's winning right now.
No offense, they had LeBron. You know, LeBron was in and out of 2nd seed, 3rd seed, 4th seed. They still had him at 1. Embiid was on a tear for like 3 weeks, and they kept him at 2. So I think the narrative this year was give LeBron the MVP. Yeah, you know, I think a few guys are playing better than him, but LeBron was at 1 for a while, and he was putting up good performances. Yeah, but I think Joel has a point. Like they're gonna try to push because they was trying to push the Luka narrative for MVP on us for a little bit. Yeah, they tried it, but he kept losing. So it was like it's over. But they're gonna try. But I think inevitably the guys who deserve it, you know, Harden, I think he deserves it. Giannis deserves it. Nikola Jokic deserves it. Dame, I think those 4 guys right now. Embiid, if he was healthy, I think he deserve it. Those 5 guys definitely right now. But I think Embiid with the injuries out, so those 4 should be fighting for it. We was talking about Donovan Mitchell, but he kind of fell off the
map. He just doesn't have the stats.
Yeah. His team is just too well rounded for them to even.
They're not exciting. The Jazz aren't exciting.
They're not. So those 4 definitely. 100%.
I thought narrative would have helped James Harden though, because I think narrative factors into the MVP discussion. So I think him leaving Houston so dramatically, coming to the Nets, all the odds are against him. He's getting bashed.
I think that's honestly what messed him up. The stint in Houston.
The stint with the Houston.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what kind of like people are still thinking about. Okay. Like, he's, you know, MVP. You know, the Joker, he's been dominant all year. Yeah. Dame, he's been, you know, balling all year. LeBron and Embiid, they've been consistent all year. I think with Harden, they're just like, well, he played bad in Houston. They weren't that good. So we're going to just hold that against him. Is he really the MVP? KD and Kyrie. Like, I think that's what really it is But
Yeah.
like, if narrative would help Harden, he would have probably more than one MVP.
True.
I think like
I think so too. Definitely.
I think he would probably have more than one, or voters would at least dip more in his favor. Like, come out and say, "No, Harden deserves the MVP." I think narrative. I think the year before, I think people were talking about when Giannis won the first MVP,
Yeah.
and his story came out about Greece. People were like trying to push the Giannis
That should have
MVP.
been
line.
Harden's MVP.
I think last year
Yeah.
Giannis definitely deserved the
Yep,
MVP.
no
Oh yeah.
But I think people were trying to push that, like, oh, Giannis. And I think now before, like in the offseason, people were pushing the Luka narrative, young kid, bright
Yeah.
future, face of the league. So
Yeah.
it is about narratives, but the NBA is very political, and they pick who and what they want.
Yeah, especially with Giannis, they were looking for him to dethrone LeBron. That was the Giannis narrative, like, oh, he's coming for LeBron, young age, got 2 back-to-back
like,
MVPs. But
nah.
I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Next year, who is it? Is it Zion?
I think Zion's
For
up next.
MVP,
Yeah.
Zion.
They're gonna try to push that really hard.
I don't know.
I think narrative will push it, but I think if we're talking stats, I don't think Zion will be there yet. And in terms of impact on the team, like winning and everything,
yeah,
I would. The Pelicans would have to start winning.
they're really horrible without him though. Like,
They
they're
are
bad, but they're horrible
Yeah,
without him.
no, he's a big impact player, but I think the Pelicans would have to start winning for us at least to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, maybe Luka probably will be that again next year.
I think he'll get
Especially-
one.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
he'll
no,
get one.
Luka's gonna
yeah,
get
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
like young, like in the next.
Well, he can't be the youngest no more.
How old is he? He's only
He's about
20.
to-
He's
he's about to
20,
be
right?
22, if
I
I'm
thought
not
he's
mistaken.
20 or
I think he's 21.
He's only
Twen-
21.
he's
Yeah,
20.
because
Yeah,
he's been in the league for this is third year.
his third year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think he's 21 right now.
You fact check me real quick. That's
Yeah.
Rose won the MVP at what, 21?
22 and some change.
Two?
22 and 223 days.
Ooh,
Okay, so close
damn.
to
Okay,
23.
boy.
Now, I made that.
I
Last,
said-
I made
oh, I was
those
like,
days up.
I see
It was
you.
22, but I made those
Said it
days
with the
up.
confidence. I was like, damn. Okay.
I remember that. I cried when he won
Oh yeah.
because he turned 23 in October. I know he
Bro,
yeah.
I can't lie, bro. To this day, I still haven't seen talent like Prime D Rose, man.
That was easy.
Oh
You
my
see
That
Luka.
was crazy.
the way he
Yo.
just came,
Prime
like,
D
I don't-
Rose
I,
was
I don't believe he
nasty.
worked out that much.
He was
for
so
that.
acrobatic.
Yo,
That's what was so different about him.
could finish above the rim
How old
at
are you?
will.
How old are you?
I'm 21,
When's your birthday?
June 24th.
He's 22. He just turned 22 in February.
You needed my birthday to like confirm that.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, because his birthday just passed. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
so he's a year younger than me. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's young, man.
Damn.
But he's battle tested.
Yeah, he won't win it
Yeah.
this year, so it's over.
No.
It's Rapsy, yeah.
Yeah.
So on to the next topic. We talked about the MVP race. Now we're going to talk about the NBA championship.
Mm.
The Clippers just made a move for Rajon Rondo, and I think that they needed a point guard. I know you guys disagreed on that a little bit,
Yeah.
but do you still believe the Clippers can still win a championship, or do you think that ship has kind of sailed already?
Well,
You want to take a crack at
'cause
it?
I just said what I said earlier.
Yeah, facts.
no, I do. I think the Clippers are going to win the championship. I do believe the Clippers
Mm.
have a big chance to win the championship. I think
Yeah.
with the team that they have, Tyronn Lue, and I told these dudes in the offseason, Tyronn Lue was going to be a major upgrade from Doc
Yeah.
Rivers. I just don't think he's a player coach. And I think with guys like this, you need a player coach.
Okay.
And I feel like this team is the most efficient team in the league. It's one of the only team that has a better offense statistically right now is the Brooklyn Nets. In a half court and full court, it doesn't really matter. So I think this team with Marcus Morris acknowledging that he needs to come off the bench, Nicholas Batum,
Nice.
he's had a resurge. Paul George, he's has a few stinkers, but he's still playing at a great level. We like to see that Kawhi Leonard is starting to surge into that MVP level. And I think these last two games, that Atlanta coming back from 22 down, the game before, I think those two games showed the resilience that this team has and showed that it's geared up for that long playoff run that it's going to take. And I think outside the Lakers, I think they're geared up to beat any team. I think a couple teams can beat them, but I'm going to put my money in the Clippers, and I believe in the Clippers this year if they're healthy.
I believe they can win it. I think they have the pieces. I agreed with you. Like, I think they needed a point guard. I just didn't think Rondo specifically was the point guard they needed. Like I said, I wanted someone more along the lines of Lonzo Ball, but they needed a point guard for sure. Because I know you riding with the Clippers, but I'm not a big fan of Kawhi being like the main playmaker and the main facilitator. Like I like the Rondo move because he's someone who will make it easier for Kawhi and PG to get to their spots. And like we said, have that floor general, take the pressure off of them having to facilitate. So they have the pieces. We can't say they have the depth. They have the firepower.
They have
They have two superstars on their team. Like, they have everything that they need to compete. I think they're one of the only teams, like you said, outside of the Lakers who have the firepower to compete. I just want to see how they mesh. I want to see where they insert Rondo. You know, what are they doing with Pat Bev? What are they doing with Reggie Jackson? How does that look with that 3-guard monster? If they could figure that out, then I think the Clippers are scary.
I'll say the only way, like,
Yeah.
they can't win if Paul George doesn't play good.
No.
Like, that's how important he is to this team. Like, Kawhi can have a phenomenal series, but they cannot go to the finals if playoff P is not playoff P. If he's way off P, if he's George Paul, it's over.
Pandemic P.
Pandemic.
P,
Nah, it's not. Nah, we're not doing that no more.
Yo,
If he plays like that,
George Paul.
that's the funniest one, George Paul.
George Paul. Bayless calls him that. George Paul.
Paul.
Yeah, if he plays like that, then there's just no chance for this Clippers team. But if we get Paul George from Indiana, we get
Even that first year OKC.
Yeah, we get a couple
PG.
games from that Utah series, or even like against Portland, he was still a little banged up. You know, a couple 30-pointers. We're gonna be good, man. I believe in playoff P. I do. I believe in. That's biased me though talking.
Listen, the Clippers, they have the roster.
Yeah.
Pat Bev beat PG Kawhi. Pat Bev. Marcus Morris, Ibaka, Zubac, Batum, Kennard, Terrence Mann is there. Now Rondo. You know, for me,
they're deep.
The thing about it is that the Clippers, I don't know what it is. Like, on paper, they have it all.
Yeah,
everything.
But
bro.
it is just something about them that I'm just not sold on. Last season, I felt like was the year to win it. Last year was the year that, you know, forget about who Vegas was picking to be the favorites.
Yeah.
People that watched basketball knew the Clippers were supposed to be the favorites over the Lakers, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And then they completely collapsed in the bubble against Denver, and they don't have any of those grit and grind guys that were there from the Doc Rivers days with Lou Will.
Yeah.
Pat Bev is like the only one that's still there. Montrezl Harrell left.
Pat Peterson.
Patrick
Peterson.
Patrick Beverly was there. So
Pat Bev's still
he's
there.
the only guy that's there, but it's something that doesn't. I just can't believe in the Clippers. I know they're 29-16 and third in the Western Conference, but for me, their chance to win the title has sailed.
Oh,
and
already?
The reason for that is because we have the Brooklyn Nets. You know, because we have a super team, and the Clippers last year was the year that no team in the NBA was a super team. Every
was a
team
great year.
was balanced. Every team had 2 stars, and it was my 2 stars against your 2 stars.
Yeah.
This year it's not like that because Brooklyn has took the mantle.
It's my 3.5 stars versus your 2.
It's my 3 big guys. It's crazy.
And because of that, I think the Clippers ship has sailed because I don't think they win a championship this year. I think they can make it because of the injuries to the Lakers, because of that. And I think they could even beat the Lakers in the series. But I think they can make the championship, but they cannot win it because they are going to run into Brooklyn. And next year, Brooklyn is still going to be there. And I guarantee you that another team is going to make a move to get a 3rd star next year, too.
100%.
So now we're going to have, next year, we're probably going to have 2 super teams.
Maybe more than 2.
Yeah.
Maybe Lowry goes to the Clippers and joins up. That would put some trust in them. I would put a little bit more trust in them, but there is just something about the Clippers. I think Tyronn Lue has been better than Doc Rivers, but there is something about them that I just cannot trust them. I can't put my finger on what it really is, but I just don't trust this team.
I get it. Like, it's when you watch them, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You don't know what team's gonna show up on that night. You can get the best team in the league, or you can get one of the worst. And it's weird. Like, only reason I'm still riding the ship is because I'm a Paul George fan. That's legit it.
Yeah.
But like, I agree with you. I think them getting to the finals for a Clippers franchise, I think that's just the goal. Like, they have never made a WCF. I think getting there is just like, well, damn, we didn't.
It has to be the chip.
It has to, but I think like with Brooklyn being there, like, and I think me personally, I think the Clippers are the only team, one of the few teams that can beat Brooklyn. But I think it's just so hard for them to walk into a series and their 3rd best player being whoever, and the other team's 3rd best player being Kyrie, who's kind of like on the same level as Paul George. So it's like, okay, so we got our best guy isn't better than your first guy, and our best guy is on the same level as your second best guy, and our second best guy is on the same level as your third. So it's like, we're outnumbered here. I mean, we have a better team, depth, but in the playoffs, you play 7, 8 guys, 9 guys maybe. So you run a really short rotation, and those 3 guys, I think they're going to be, gangstered up by the time they get to the finals. So it's like, I think getting through the Lakers is going to be a blessing for them. I think that's the series when they're going to be like, damn, we really did it. We made it to the finals. But I just think, like, it really comes down to that bench because, like you said, last year they had the dogs, but in certain matchups, I feel like Tyronn Lue's going to really establish. Like Doc Rivers, he was kind of stubborn in a sense.
Yeah.
And keep playing Montrez when it was not working, not playing Zubac enough. Even though Zubac, Jokic is going to kill regardless, but Montrez, he was just feasting on double teaming him when he wasn't supposed to. So I think this team is better equipped. But like you said, like Brooklyn is just in the way of everybody. Even with LeBron, LeBron trying to get that 5th ring, Brooklyn is just sitting there in the way. So it's going to be tough for any team. I think next year is really going to be where we're back to the super team era. And it was cool, no super teams for a year, but now we're going to be back. Clippers, I think getting Kyle Lowry would definitely boost them up a little bit. Yeah. But I think Miami, the Clippers, Philly, they're geared up to try to get another superstar next year to really. Even Boston, too, they're geared up to try to get another guy, and I think Brooklyn's going to set that tone for where super teams are going to be back in business.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You said the key word, better equipped, and I think they're better equipped because I think the Clippers are one of the best defensive teams in the league. So I think the fact that they do have that firepower with Kawhi and Paul George, and they have the defenders in the length that they do, I think they're one of the more better equipped teams to be able to defend against Brooklyn, but I think they need another piece. Could Kyle Lowry be that piece? Yeah. He could be. But I think the best thing, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong or give me your opinion, but to me, when you're going up against firepower, you need more firepower. So, like you said, they're outnumbered. It's 2 against 3.
I think, like, with LA, I think, like, the Lakers, like, when I'm comparing the Lakers and the Clippers, when I match them up against the Nets, based off, like, we haven't really seen a full Clippers team, a full Lakers team versus a full Nets, but we've seen 2 full, like, Pat Bev ain't played, but we know he's going to come in.
Yeah,
so
we've seen the Clippers and
the Nets. I think offensively, the Lakers can't keep up with the Nets, but I think defensively they'll be able to stay in it. I think with the Clippers, it's a reverse. I think offensively, they'll be able to stay in it. Yeah. But I think what came down to it in the fourth quarters was exposing Batum as a defensive liability. And Kyrie, Harden, and KD just went to work taking turns.
Yo, that was beautiful to watch.
That's what I think. They just took turns on Batum, and just did whatever they needed to do. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. Like, I think the Clippers offensively, they can go toe-to-toe at the end, but the Lakers provide more defensive problems just for the simple fact that with the Clippers, they match up in the sense of they have wings. The Nets have wings. Yeah. They have point guards. The Nets have point guards. Both teams don't have a real big. Yeah. With the Lakers, they have AD. So that's really why people were picking the Lakers, because AD, the Nets haven't played at AD. Yeah. But he's a guy who can go on the wing, go down low. So that's going to be a game changer for them. And I'm not saying he can lock up KD, but he can guard. He can go out there and guard KD. So it's going to be. Oh my God, I just hope they win, bro. I can't do this no more.
Yo, it's crazy because I think this year the Clippers are better suited to
the Nets
play against the Nets, but the problem with the Nets, and you're not gonna outscore them. Yeah. So even if you are a great defensive team and you do happen to kind of shut them down one night, you're not outscoring them, or at least you have to have the firepower to put up more points on the board than they do. And I don't see too many teams.
I wish David Stern was here. He'd have vetoed that.
Yo,
you'd have been sick. He'd have vetoed.
The only trade I've ever seen vetoed was Chris Paul to the Lakers.
Because he knew what would happen. He knew what was gonna happen, bro.
But the Nets looking like the Globetrotters in the dream team.
They just let it happen, right?
Just let it happen. But you don't let Chris Paul team up with Kobe.
Yeah, I still wish that trade was there. And honestly, it wasn't even a bad trade. They were getting Pau Gasol.
True. It'd have been what? Chris Paul, Kobe, and Dwight.
They were getting Lamar Odom and Pau.
I don't think Dwight was there at the time with the CP trade.
It was supposed to be a big three. So who was the third?
Wasn't Powell still there at the time?
Andrew Bynum.
Andrew Bynum was tough.
Yeah, but the trade wasn't bad. It was Lamar Odom, Pau Gasol.
Yeah, I like Lamar and
I mean, it was like they were getting pieces back. Tough. I mean,
Chris Paul at that time though,
he was nasty.
I mean, from the Clippers, they only got Eric Gordon back. That was like and Al-Farouq Aminu.
That was like peak Chris Paul, right?
Yeah,
Al-Farouq Aminu was there. He was like one of the highlight players. No, but on to the next segment. We haven't talked about this team yet, but they've been on a win streak. That is the Atlanta Hawks. Before they lost 2 games in a row, they were on an 8-game win streak. They lost 2 in a row, one to the Clippers, I believe, and the other one I forgot who they lost to. It was just the other night. They lost to the Clippers.
They lost to the Clippers the other night.
Nah, I think they're 9-1.
They're on a 2-game skid.
You keep talking.
So Right now, they're 22-22. They are the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. And when the Hawks first fired Lloyd Pierce, everybody went Kings. Yeah. Okay. When the Hawks first fired Lloyd Pierce, everybody went crazy. Everybody didn't think Lloyd Pierce was ever to get fired. They thought, Rick Carlisle came out and said that he should have remained the head coach because he was a Democrat. He literally said that.
Yeah.
Greg Popovich, didn't think it was a good move either. They got a lot of he literally said that. So they got a lot of backlash, but Nick McMillan has done a good job. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks, they are winning. So my question to you is that what do you think has been the reason for their recent success, for how they are playing now versus how they were playing with Lloyd Pierce?
I think it's just mentality. I think the type of encouragement Nick McMillan offers. I think with Lloyd Pierce, you saw a lot of him blaming this guy and bashing this guy. I think with Nate McMillan, he brought in a different energy to the locker room, and he brought in that type of encouragement energy. Like, he's coming in, boosting you up, making you ready to work, and I think that's what's been key for them. I also noticed a lot in their game, like Trae Young isn't always taking all the shots. He's actually hasn't been taking a lot of shots and bad shots. He's been doing more playmaking. John Collins has actually been getting the ball a lot more. He's been up in his game. So I think I think Nate McMillan kind of unlocked this offense in a sense of where it's giving everybody the ball. And his team is still not healthy. So that's what's the beauty. Like, this Hawks team is a very weird team because they haven't been healthy many times. And I think getting Nate McMillan, they get healthy. I think this is a good team that can be really good down the stretch. But you definitely see the mentality is different. The team is different. They're playing. I'm not saying they're a great defense, but they're playing like they come to play hard every night. With Lloyd Pierce, you saw they was kind of lackadaisical. They didn't want to play sometimes. So I think Nate McMillan brought a different type of energy, kind of like that Coach Carter energy. When he came in, Timo Cruz and them, he kind of came in and brought that different energy. So that's what he brought. And I like this because I'm a Cam Reddish fan, so I hope Atlanta succeeds for life. They're trying to trade him. I'm glad they did it. So it was lit. So, yeah, Atlanta, Nate McMillan.
I agree. I think mentality played a big role. But to me, at least what I've noticed is I just think they have an identity now. I think everybody on the team knows their role. I love their front court with John Collins and Clint Capella. I think that's nasty. They've been defending in the games that I've been watching too. They're not a great defensive team, but they have been making the effort on defense. Trae Young has kind of taken the work off of himself. I felt like before he had to, do too much to kind of create a bucket or create for his team. So now he's kind of slowing down, letting other people facilitate and trusting his teammates a lot more. And they're a young team. Like, I love the Hawks. Like, when the Clint Capella trade first went through, I love that pickup. So I think they have a lot of potential. Maybe they could make a run for the playoffs this year, but I think we'll hear about the Hawks for the years to come. But for me, the difference I've noticed, like I said, is I just feel like they have an identity. Everybody kind of fits into the offense. They're role players. Everybody's accepting their role. And to me, the big effort was just defensively as well.
And I think you guys both said it right. When I looked up like the stats versus Pierce with Nick versus Nate McMillan, I thought I was gonna come into something that was staggering. Like, wow, like there is such a difference. Yeah, but it really wasn't. Like, when you look at points per game, they were better with Lloyd Pierce. Yeah. They had more assists per game with Lloyd Pierce, but they also had more turnovers. With Nate McMillan, what they're better at is rebounding. They have a better percentage from the field and three. Granted, it's a way lower sample size, so that percentage is probably going to be higher, but I thought it was going to be their points per game were way high with McMillan. Their assists per game, they were moving the ball around more, but they're still moving the ball around more. It just doesn't show on the stats, and for me, I think you said it, mentality, having them ready to play, because the Hawks, even with Lloyd Pierce early in the season, they were winning. It's not like they were losing, but when they got injured, that confidence kind of went away. Yeah. And a guy who's been big for them has been this guy, Nathan Knight. I mean, nobody outside of that doesn't watch Atlanta knows who Nathan Knight is, but he had 2 games where he really had a lot to do with the Atlanta Hawks wins. He had 15 points and 16 points. So all around, Nick McMillan is instilling confidence, not only in the top guys, but also the lower level guys like Nathan Knight, who a week, 2 weeks ago, nobody really knew anything about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you trust them in the playoffs?
I don't trust Atlanta in the playoffs.
Too young.
But also, these are the teams that Atlanta has beat. They have beaten the Heat. They beat the Magic. They beat the
They
Raptors.
almost beat the Clippers.
Yeah,
They beat
that was
the
a close game.
Kings. They beat the Cavs. They beat the Rockets. They beat the Thunder. They beat the Lakers.
And it's interesting that you bring those teams up because when people are going to come back, they're going to say, "Oh, those teams are bad." But a lot of those teams they were losing to
Yeah,
early in the season, like losing games that they should have won. With the team has been injured all year, so you can't even say this guy didn't play. They've been injured all year, so I think that's good that they're beating teams that they should be beating, and that's kind of I think a Nate McMillan thing. And people forget he's a guy who he's
battle
yeah, he's gonna get your team to the playoffs. He may not be
Probably not gonna win.
yeah, he's probably not gonna win, but he's like
He'll get you there.
Yeah, he'll get you there. So it's like he's a coach that knows how to get to the playoffs. He knows that mentality. He knows what to do to get in a war.
Yeah.
He just never wins the war. So
yeah,
that's good for him.
And isn't that what Atlanta has needed this entire time? Because I mean, I think when you have a young team,
You just need playoff
you
experience.
need not only that, but I think you need a coach
that can guide that young
Yes,
talent.
like
yeah.
Lloyd Pierce, they took a risk on Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah,
I think
They
they wanted
took
him to
a-
grow with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took a risk on a young coach who was unproven to coach young guys. But usually that's not how it works out. I'll give you 2 examples. Mark Jackson with Golden State with that young Warriors team. He developed them.
Yeah.
Right now, you look at the Knicks last year with David Fizdale, a guy who could grow with the
I
team.
give you another one, Luke
Yeah.
Walton.
Yeah, he's doing
yeah.
bad with Sacramento. But now the Knicks brought in Tom Thibodeau, a proven coach.
Yeah.
Now the Knicks are about to make the playoffs. And the Hawks, the same thing. If they would have that they would have hired a coach who was proven from the very start,
Mm-hmm.
they probably would have been way farther in the development process than they are right now.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
because I think Nate McMillan is that coach who's going to develop them, and then
Yeah.
they
You
then
find
have
it,
to
yeah.
hire
Yeah.
another coach who can take them over the top eventually. Or maybe McMillan can change around. his
Yeah, I
record.
think like people like I think the only time that really worked was Boston. Brad Stevens was
Yeah.
young; he just got out of Butler, and I think they took a chance on Brad Stevens. But other than that, I think you should definitely you got a young talent. You should hire that proven coach to
Yeah.
kind of come in and set them straight. Because I think like we seen with Luke Walton and Mark Jackson, these aren't guys that kind of know how to win. Like they're kind of just winging it at this point. So, with Tom Thibodeau, even when he came to Chicago, he was a winner. He won a ring with the Boston Celtics. He was an assistant coach. He was under Doc Rivers. So when he came in with D Rose and them, we kind of already knew. Like we had Vinny Del Negro. He developed. He developed D Rose in them, and then Tom Thibodeau came in and kind of took the charge. So you definitely need that proven coach
I would
kind
say
of come in
this,
and
though.
settle.
I was fine with Luke Walton, but I think Mark Jackson is the winner.
I think Mark Jackson's a winner as well.
Yeah, you said Mark Jackson. I think he is a.
What did I say?
You said Mark Jackson, Luke Walton are winging it.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, I think Mark Jackson, like, he
apologize.
knows what he's
I think,
doing.
but I think at
I
first,
think he could have.
Pierce,
I think he could have taken them to the next level.
no, I think
given
when I
more
say
time with the
when I say
Warriors.
winging it, I meant like at first when they first got to the playoffs,
I
he
feel
was
you.
kind of like just kind of seeing what the team was about. Like he didn't he wasn't the one who knew Draymond Green was Draymond Green. That was kind of Steve Kerr. He was kind of letting him play behind David Lee, and Klay Thompson was coming off the bench, and then he started to start. So I think he was kind of like still processing. But yeah, Luke Walton, my fault. Luke Walton, though, he was definitely winging it.
Oh yeah.
He didn't know what he was
Yeah.
definitely winging it.
100%.
I mean, but yeah, Atlanta has a bunch of young talent. I mean,
Yeah.
when they get fully healthy, I think this can be a really, one of the better young teams in the NBA. I was about to say something more crazy.
I was
Yeah.
looking at you
What you
too.
gonna
Like,
say? What you gonna say?
what do you
Yeah,
think
nah.
their ceiling is? Like, how
I mean, it
far do you think this team
depends.
can
Who,
go?
It depends
Atlanta?
on who
Yeah.
develops, because if Trae Young becomes that, like,
Not this year.
You don't want to
Just,
hear my
you know.
take on Atlanta.
if Trae Young
Yes, I.
if Trae Young becomes that top 15 player, if DeAndre Hunter can become like,
I like
a
him.
really good 3-and-D player who I think he could become, Cam Reddish can start being consistent,
Yeah.
because he's not consistent.
At all.
John Collins
At all.
becomes a better defender. I think Clint Capella is perfect for that
I love
5
Clint
spot.
Capella.
He's perfect. And Bogdanovich, he's been hurt. He just, has been
I
back
think
to the lineup
Danilo's probably
recently.
more aligned their future.
And Gallinari
Yeah.
too,
He's
so,
been looking trash this year. I can't lie.
Injuries.
I
Yeah.
think part of that was Lloyd Pierce, how he played him too. I
Yeah.
think Nick McMillan has been putting him in better spots to succeed.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think if Trae Young can turn into that guy and Cam Reddish turn into that guy,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna turn into DeAndre Hunter. He looks like he was definitely on that MIP list for me.
Yeah.
He's playing really good. But in all, I think they need Trae Young, Cam Reddish, John Collins, and DeAndre. I think they need those 4 guys. But I don't think John Collins is coming back.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
I think if he wasn't coming back, they would have traded him.
Mm.
I
But then
think he
again,
probably was
they
coming
said his contract wasn't big enough to get a big guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's only getting paid like $5 million.
No, yeah. Okay.
So they was only gonna get a young guy and like some picks.
Yeah, but you rather that than just like let him walk.
I mean, we'll see what they do. I
He's
think,
a crucial
but
piece.
like
They gotta
if
keep
he's there,
him.
I think those 4 guys plus Clint, because Clinton's only like 26.
Yeah, he's
I
young.
think they need those 4 guys to really, develop.
I think Cam Reddish is the key.
He's gonna be a superstar.
I think if he can develop, because we all get that vibe from him.
Yeah, he's a hater. He hates Cam, but we all get
I
that.
don't hate Cam. You just said he was better than RJ.
RJ who Barrett?
Yeah,
nah.
RJ sucks. No, but he doesn't suck. But I'm saying we all get that vibe though.
Yeah,
that
I think
Cam
RJ's
got it,
overrated.
Like, yeah,
I think RJ's overrated.
Well, you mean to tell me?
You think RJ's overrated?
To a degree, but I think he's. I don't. Let me not say overrated. He's not playing at the level that he's not the star I thought he was.
He was
be
the
like
best
so
player in the
early.
world in high school.
Yeah,
like, by
and then even
far.
college, I thought he had more potential than Zion. Like when they were both at Duke, I was like, nah, I like RJ over Zion. But now, I mean, he's doing well with the Knicks. Just like I said, I thought he was gonna be, a
So
little
let me
bit
ask
higher.
you
by
really
now.
don't like when you see Cam. You really don't feel that superstar vibe.
Now you
No,
see
I
it.
can't. No, Cam has all the tools.
Yeah, like
But
you could
Is it
feel
because
that.
he's
vibe.
underachieving?
There are a lot of teams.
He's
There are a lot
mad
of players.
inconsistent.
OD, bro.
There are a lot of players who look the part, but they just
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
have that.
That is
I
true.
just don't think Cam has that
The it
mentality.
factor. Okay.
I feel you.
I don't think he has.
No,
that
he doesn't.
Well,
mentality.
we can all agree he has like he
no,
has.
you know
that.
who he reminds me of?
Who?
Wiggins.
Oh my
Like
god, that's
no,
so
not in terms of playing style. Like
oh,
they like very lethargic. Like they don't look excited
Yeah,
like,
no,
when
he
they
does-
play.
he
Like
does
they don't
walk in the
want to
game.
be like
Yeah, I get
great.
it.
You know,
I get it.
like
he does
Andrew
walk
Wiggins
in, yeah.
gives me that same vibe where they just there. Like I'm just
like,
playing.
I'm just nice, so I'm
I'm
here.
just here. I'm just
Cam
nice, so I'm
Reddish's-
here. You know what I mean?
Cam Reddish's game is smooth,
It is smooth.
but RJ Barrett, his
He's a
game
dog.
Is,
He is a dog.
his game is really stiff.
Yeah,
Like
he's
if you,
work
if you were
ethic.
to watch him for the first time, you would say, "Oh, this guy looks like."
He sucks. No, if
No,
you
he's
watch
not
him first
that
time, you
good.
think he sucks.
But
Yeah.
the reason that he's so good now is because he's trying. He actually puts in the work. I don't think Cam Reddish is really putting in that work, and I think it,
I can
it shows.
I can agree
I
with
can
that.
definitely
I
agree.
can agree with
Offensively,
that.
I think Cam be bugging. But
Yeah, it's like, bro, when you know you're nice, so you don't give maximum
I
effort.
feel- You just be like, yeah, I'm gonna be here. It
Yeah,
doesn't
like you
matter.
don't want to be better. So I like that because I agree. Like I always look at Cam Reddish and I'm like, okay, I envision him being a top
Yo, he
level
should
talent,
be,
but I'm
yeah.
like just watching him play. Like he doesn't seem excited.
doesn't-
Like he doesn't want to be
Yeah,
there. Like he doesn't want to be great.
It doesn't
you know?
happen. It takes wings sometimes. So
Yeah,
he'll be all right, man. Just don't trade him. Just believe him.
it might take a trade.
Nah, if he gets traded, I'm out.
It might take
think-
like
I
a
think-
Markelle Fultz situation and dump him off. And, he might turn into something. You know?
I think he's that type of guy that he gets traded, he'll just feel sad as hell. And then he
like it'll
just-
ruin his career even
Yeah.
more. It depends where he gets traded to.
I mean, I
too.
follow him on Instagram. He has a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves
Looks
his
like a
dog.
dog guy.
Yeah, he has a dog.
Yeah.
He has a
Yeah.
wife and
But I
stuff.
will give him the benefit of the doubt, like, because they said Lloyd Pierce and him were kind of,
Yeah, he
battling
was not.
heads.
He
And
wasn't banging with.
so
Lloyd
I'm
Pierce.
gonna give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe
He's also
McMillan
very
could-
injury prone. That blows mine
True.
too. He's always hurt.
He gotta get his weight up. Your boy Boney over there.
I mean, he thought he was gonna be rookie of the year.
Thought he's a young KD.
That was a bias. What I tell you before I said that was a biased pick. He's like Paul George, bro. Watch. All right, give it time. Give it time.
I could see it. Nah, he don't defend though.
He locks. You just stop.
Cam Reddish.
He be he play good D. He's like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a play style. He really he guards the guards. Hunter guards the wings. Trae Young just be out there running
Yeah.
on defense. He
Oh,
just
yeah.
be out there.
Oh, yeah,
running.
he's just
So,
there.
Yeah,
He's
that's
just there to
the-
get
That's why I
buckets.
think that's why they picked. Those are the two guys that they
Yeah.
kind of like that.
What's his ceiling?
Paul George, that's what you think.
I
right?
think, I think higher.
You
Honestly,
think he-
I think
That's
I think well, I say that. No, I'm gonna
That's
tell you why I say
crazy.
that. I think higher because Paul George, when he came out of college, he wasn't as skilled as what Cam was. Like we're just talking
Okay.
strictly skill.
Raw skill.
He
Okay, I'll give
wasn't
you
as
that.
skilled as what Cam. What Paul had to work for that.
Yeah.
So I think his ceiling is possibly higher, but his floor is so low.
Yeah.
Like he's out of the league floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah,
that.
he needs to get it together now because bus talks is in the air. Like, is he a
No,
bus?
it's killing
And
me, bro.
once you get there, it's like, damn, you kind of falling down.
That'd be my second guy out of here. I had Trey Duvall and then him.
Yo, Trey Duvall.
Yeah, that'd be the
that's a
second guy in a
sad.
row outta
That's a
here,
sad story, man. That's a sad story.
So that does it for our basketball portion of the podcast. Now we have 3 more segments, football topics. One is not really a football topic; it just has to do with a football player. But a Deshaun Watson, he has right now 16 lawsuits filed against him, allegations, and I'm gonna read you 3 of them because he
Only 3.
Deshaun Watson has 16.
Yeah, I'm not hearing
But
16.
there are 3 stories that like it kind of gives you what everything is kind of about.
Mm-hmm.
So for everybody that's listening or watching right now, I'm just gonna tell you this is no filter. I'm not gonna hold back what I say.
Okay.
I'm gonna say everything that is in this report.
Okay.
So okay, May 28th, 2020, at Watson's home in Houston. The plaintiff, a certified personal trainer who did not specialize in massage, says Watson wanted to book with her anyway and told her he wanted to focus on his groin, glutes, and lower abdominals.
He's freaky.
Okay, this is wait.
He's
all right,
freaky.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's freaky.
She says the massage took place in a theater room and that at one point Watson exposed his penis and moved it to her hand. The lawsuit says Watson told her, "I hope you do not mind if we continue this massage like this." Yeah, Watson is crazy, bro. Like,
If
I'm
these
just-
are true,
I
if
just-
these are
yeah.
true,
I
If
just
this
wanna-
is true,
I just
yeah.
want to say this. I don't think this is funny, but I think the way this is written is funny.
Yeah.
Cause like I just can't imagine Deshaun Watson doing
mind
this.
you, his
Yeah,
girl is
just
bad
playing out
right
like
now.
that,
He has,
yeah.
what's
Yeah.
her name?
And then Ajilia Naive.
Yeah,
That's his
Jilly,
girl.
bro. His girl's fire.
But okay.
No way.
The lawsuit says Watson told her, "I hope you do not mind if we continue the massage like this." The woman says she started stuttering and said, "I do not know. I do not know." Before ending the massage, the plaintiff says she called her mother and best friend that day to tell them what happened, and that Watson texted her the same day asking if she was okay. So March 30th, 2020, he contacted a girl via direct message, a girl that had a massage therapy business.
Thanks.
The woman alleges that Watson exposed his penis and touched her hand with his penis. She says she ended the massage abruptly, and Watson told her, "I know you have a career and a reputation, and I know you would hate for someone to mess with yours, just like I don't want anyone messing with mine." She says he texted later to apologize, but she did not respond. Then April 19, 2020, at a Houston spa, the plaintiff, a licensed esthetician, so I think that's the person who works like with face and stuff, things,
Okay.
who owns her skincare business, says she was contacted by Watson via Instagram. So he's DMing these women. So
No filter,
he's DMing.
man.
So during a massage appointment, Watson directed the woman to work on the crevices in his groin area. The lawsuit states.
Crevices, bro.
She says when he rolled over onto his back, he had an erection and repeatedly touched her hand with his penis.
This guy's extremely horny.
Yo, facts.
He ejaculated, leaving the woman confused and mortified. The lawsuit states.
Damn.
So these are all allegations.
Wait.
So he just
So
rolled over
he
and
just rolled over
and
and
bust.
No,
It's not funny, but it's like
not, but
it's the way
yeah,
like, they're really
it's the way
writing
it's
this.
written.
No,
like, yeah,
You know what's funny about this is that, like, what I can't imagine is that,
No way.
okay, you roll over
just
and
putting it in your hand, like, hold this.
you roll over and you have an erection. The way this is explained, at least,
Sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
it sounds
Yeah.
like Deshaun Watson just busted. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't even take much for him to bust. Like,
Yeah,
like,
Yo,
I don't,
stop.
I-
just
like,
rolled out, just
no,
rolled out
but,
his
like,
back.
For me, like, I don't even know, like, if that can happen, bro. Like, can you just like bust like in 5 seconds? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I would say
Rolling
I don't think so.
over?
Rolling over with no
So,
stimulation? Nah, I don't
he
see
had
it.
an erection,
Obviously hard.
repeatedly touched her hand with his penis.
I mean, massages will do it to you, bro.
I've never had a massage.
Once. Massages will do it to you.
Really?
Can't lie. Massages will do it to you, bro.
He's crazy.
So those are 3 stories, and I read the other stories, and basically what you have to get from them is that most of them sound like this, but also most of them are like he's DMing women from salons and spas and massage therapists. There was only one that was at an office, and it was in Houston. He's usually DMing these girls, like they all start with a DM
Okay.
to their Instagram. For me, like the first thing that pops up is like, I mean, a famous professional athlete DMing just random girls on Instagram. I don't think that at least smart professional athletes wouldn't move that way,
Yeah.
especially talking about like an all-pro quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
With a lot to lose.
Yeah, like it just seems, this whole thing just seems crazy. Rusty Harden, who's Deshaun Watson's lawyer, who like has handled high-profile cases for athletes, says that they have strong evidence that these allegations are false.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say true.
But what do you make of this?
Imagine.
What do you make of this entire situation?
First of all, this stories are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no way a man rolls over and he just busts. It's just, it's not, I don't think that's possible. Second of all, it's just like, I don't know. Like, these stories sound ridiculous. Like, I don't think, like, I don't think the type of guy we don't really know Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
We don't know his personal life. We don't know what type of guy he is. We don't know how he is, like, personally. But I think the type of man he's shown to be in terms of the media, I don't think, and he's really famous, and he dates like Jilly, so it's like, I don't think he needs to do all this to women. Like,
Yeah.
like it's always a massage or like a spa too. So it's like,
it definitely feels like
it's being,
it definitely feels like somebody has
it's playing
said,
him.
let's plan these stories. Because
you
they're
said,
all very similar.
you said they're all,
Yeah.
outside of one of them is just a spa. Like,
Yeah,
outside of one
mainly.
that was an office and mainly
Their
the spa.
spas, yeah,
Like
and
massage
their
parlors,
salons.
It
right?
sounds like,
Yeah.
what it sounds like to me is the Texans are trying to sabotage him.
That's a theory I've heard.
Yeah, I think it sounds to me like Texans are trying because he doesn't want to play for them, which is really messed up because if he just doesn't want to play for you guys, he just doesn't want to play for you guys.
Just trade
Yeah.
them, honestly.
Yeah, just like you're doing, like you're acting crazy. I've never seen this happen in my life. If it is true though, he's a sick freak. He needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
No, if it is
Yeah.
true, he's a sick freak. Like, he's
Yeah.
extremely horny.
Yeah.
He needs help.
And something is physiologically wrong
Yeah, like
to
that.
roll over on your back and bust.
And then be excited about that is like ridiculous.
And
But
just putting your dick in people's hands.
and then just walk out calmly and go about your day is crazy to me. But I hope it's not true. He's a black man. I really hope it's not true. But if
Yeah.
it is true, he's going down. Like, he's out of here.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I'm an innocent till proven guilty kind of guy. So I try not to follow the trends and like the cancel culture. I'm not one to just automatically cancel you after news drops. Like, I like to, get to the evidence and stuff like that. It doesn't look good just because there's 16 allegations, right?
Yeah,
So
16
when there's
is
like
crazy.
one or two, you can make the argument that, hey, this person's out to get me, they're just trying to sabotage me, maybe we had a bad breakup, they want money. But when it's like 16, it's like my mind automatically goes to, there has to be some truth in there. Maybe not 100% truth, but there has to be some kind of truth there.
One of them, they all can't be lying. That's what I'm saying.
And that's where I get. And even if they all are lying, that's how public perception works. Like, once you get to 16, you're like, come on.
Yeah, like 16.
Come on, man. That's like me saying, yo, Riv, you're a bad guy. I'm just one person, but if 16 people are like, yo, Riv's a bad
Yeah, it's like,
dude, it's like, all right, somewhere you might be a bad dude
yeah,
somewhere.
like, I gotta really
there.
do fact check you on this one. So
Yeah.
it's like 16 people's crazy.
16,
Then again,
16 is
though,
crazy, bro.
Then again, though, like
You about to tell me more?
no. For us,
Four
though,
more pending.
For us, though, like 16 people calling Riv a bad guy would be like, okay, it's believable. But when you're a guy,
For him, yeah.
but when you're
Wait, what the?
no, I'm just saying, when you're a guy like Deshaun Watson who has
Yeah.
like millions of followers, like
True.
16 is a very minuscule number.
Millionaires
True.
are sick, though.
And
They are,
that's
they
why
are.
I can't say, and that's why the situations
They're
like this
actually
are
worse
hard.
than regular
People in positions of power are
because they
always
feel
worse.
like money can stop
Yep.
all that. Like,
Yeah.
it can, hide all the defaults
Yeah.
and the effects of what you do. Like,
I
that's
mean,
why
Tiger
we don't have.
Woods
like,
was a sexual beast.
oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
I
whoa.
mean, I saw his documentary.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
like hypothetically speaking, like if I was rich, say for example, I did this. Like,
Yeah.
Like if I was a regular person, I couldn't do this to 16 people
No.
and make them. Like I'd probably get caught on like the second
Yeah.
or third person because I don't have the money to tell
Yeah.
him, yo, chill out.
Or the power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a very powerful guy in the sense of like football world. He's one of those
Yeah.
higher caliber superstar level guys. And he gets paid top dollar, so he can easily make this go away for
Yeah.
one or two. But 16 women have come out and said he's a weirdo and he's a freak. So I
Yeah.
just don't know how he's gonna really manage that.
Yeah,
They talk about they have strong evidence to default that. I really don't see how.
Yeah, especially if like you said, he is
I mean, the evidence-
DMing and everything like
yeah,
that.
The
Yeah.
evidence would be the DMs, but what if he's not DMing?
He can always unsend.
That's the thing.
And also, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, Photoshop is
Exactly.
very
So
easy.
you'd
Oh,
have to
yeah.
get some hardcore evidence to bring somebody of his stature down. But I don't know. I don't want to say he's innocent. I don't innocent until proven guilty.
I'ma
but
say he's
this,
innocent.
This what I'm
it's
saying.
it's tough,
Sounds
man. Like
crazy.
you never know, man.
This is what I'm saying. You talked about the theory that they've been throwing around out there.
Yeah.
Tony Busby, the lawyer that's defending these women, he's the neighbor of the Houston Texans owner Cal McNair.
Wow.
Isn't that a coincidence?
Yeah, so he's the
The
neighbor.
theories.
So
I would say this.
Or maybe it could be this. This is just another theory, but maybe the Texans have known about this for a while because it does says
try to sweep it under the rug.
They're sick for that too.
These dates
there's
are
people like that, man.
Yep, these dates are March 30th, 2020, April 19, 2020, and May 28th, 2020. So these happened about a year ago. So maybe the Texans were keeping it under the rug because Deshaun Watson is their franchise quarterback. But as soon as he turns their back on them,
he wants to leave.
we're gonna turn our backs on you.
Ruin his trade value.
Yeah.
I want to say
that's a good one.
The mindset of those women, like if this did happen to them, I feel really bad for them because
of course.
Like, they've been traumatized because that's weird. Turning around and you see a man turn over and bust. That's
and somebody
like,
who's powerful when you came and
and it's like you're just sitting there and you said the girl was stuttering and stuff. Like I don't know. So it's like I feel bad. But if this isn't true and these women got paid for this to lie, it's
tough, bro.
That's crazy.
Either side we go, it's
bad on both parts.
It's bad on both parts.
Timing is definitely coincidental. But I said this before. I haven't said this on a podcast yet, though. Is that I'm also an innocent until proven guy.
Yeah.
And I also have to say that usually when it comes to like public figures or celebrities or even normal people, it's usually always guilty until proven innocent.
True.
And I feel like I don't want to make a prediction of what Deshaun Watson is. All I can say is to everybody that's listening and watching is that if you think Deshaun Watson didn't do it, don't say shit. Like, don't go out like Riff saying, I think he's innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a bad look, Riff.
But I'm just saying, like, because if he does end up being like, he did.
It reminds me. It reminds me. You ever watched the Dave Chappelle show?
Yeah.
Okay, it reminds me when he was like, Jussie Smollett. He did that thing where he was like black. He said, the gay people, the LGBT club was like black people are not supporting us. And Dave Chappelle was like, they're not supporting you because they know it's not true. So they're supporting you by keeping silent. And that's what you basically just told me to do. And I think I'm gonna follow that route because I don't want to be proven wrong.
You can't jump on the bandwagon of somebody who's been canceled, not in society, because then you get canceled. If you support this, you done.
Yeah, the thing about that is that you can't defend a guy to the T if you don't know if he did it or not. Like, you don't know him personally. We just know him like as people that watch him on TV. And you also can't chastise him and be like, he did it.
Even
these
people
women
who
are telling the truth.
Even people who know him to the T still don't know. Like, he could, people didn't know Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy like that until they realized, this man is sick. Like,
and you can never truly know somebody.
You can never.
I can hang out with you all the time, and in your personal time,
I can hang out.
Me and Joel
can hang out all day, and I kill myself. He'd be like, "What the hell?
Where'd this come from?"
He was smiling all day, every day.
Exactly.
So
you never really know.
But the other thing that is tricky about this whole situation is that Deshaun Watson's girlfriend is Jilly.
She's bad.
She is bad.
She's beautiful.
She's
everybody gets cheated on, man.
Yeah, so it's
I don't think he did. No way he's doing this.
Even the baddest ones in the game get cheated.
He got her. So I'm saying I don't think he needs to do all this weird shit to get these other women. Is what I'm saying. So I think
especially good looking women.
Yeah. So I think he's like women date famous Dex. So it's like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like famous Dex, like Hove has Beyonce, like So it's like it can't be a looks thing. It gotta be like I know.
But it's tough because even Hove cheated on Beyonce. So sometimes having the baddest joint doesn't even do it for you,
he's
bro.
He's bugging for that. But
exactly. People still got their own fetishes and desires.
Yeah, his fetish is spas and
massage parlors and all
turning
that.
Around and ejaculating.
Putting your shit in people's hands.
Prayers up to Deshaun Watson though. I hope this works out for him.
Yeah, we'll see.
I didn't even say it like that. Like I hope.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I hope he's not true. But
I just hope we get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
I hate like swimming in the allegation pool. Like, let's just get to.
This can't be no year-long
innocent
thing.
Or guilty. Like, let's figure that out. But
yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But this is definitely crazy, especially the story.
If he's guilty, what are you gonna think about Deshaun Watson?
What you said about him, I would think about him.
I'm saying, like, what is his football name? Like,
it's nothing. It's
tarnished.
It's tarnished.
Yeah, the reason why it's tarnished is even to an extent, like O.J. Simpson's name is tarnished,
but he's still O.J. Simpson.
He's still O.J. though.
He's a meme. He's a meme now.
Yeah,
you know, I get it. Like, he's still O.J., but the
That's
reason
murder,
O.J. Yeah, I know. But the reason it's O.J. is because he had a long football career and he accomplished a lot. Deshaun Watson's only been in the league for like 4 years.
So you feel like it's too fresh for him. Yeah,
like
okay.
he'll be forgotten quickly. If
especially with
true.
this and in the times we're living in now.
he'll be forgotten quickly.
And especially with cancel culture being at an all-time high,
Yeah, the woman are gonna destroy him.
Yeah,
this is crazy, man. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the truth
I don't even
truly is.
know what happens, bro.
Yeah, I feel like we gotta find out when it actually does, just because we've been having this conversation.
Yeah.
But I just hope it isn't true, man. That's because, damn, that's just tough.
Imagine writing that.
Yo,
That's so funny. Imagine sitting there and you're talking to the lawyer, like, okay, tell me what happened.
yeah.
And she just goes, well, he asked me to put his thing in my.
He didn't even ask. He put it.
He
in,
just put his
brushed it
his
against my
man's
hand. Yeah.
in my hand, brushed it, and then he just laid down, turned around, and just busted.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah.
Like, I would be so confused as a detective. Like, nah, this is unbelievable.
I mean, dudes are weird, but I feel like that's probably not exactly how it happened. I feel like they generalized.
Yeah,
There was obviously some in between there, but
I don't want to hear the in between.
no, not at all. not at all, man.
If this is true, man, Deshaun Watson is definitely a weird guy, man. This is pretty crazy.
Man, dudes are weird. So I'm not gonna say I'm gonna put it. I can't put it past him specifically, but just dudes and humans in general, man. We weird, man.
Yeah.
we weird, bro.
So on to the next topic, an actual football topic. We're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees just retired recently, and now they have a hole at quarterback. There's going to be a quarterback competition between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. So in your opinion, guys, I mean, who do you think is going to start for them, Jameis, or are you going Taysom Hill?
You know, I was kind of going like back and forth on this because I feel like Taysom Hill is like a Sean Payton guy. Like Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill. He rides for Taysom Hill. Even when Taysom Hill was playing last year, you saw like he was going to rock with him no matter what. But I think at the end of the day, Sean Payton cares about winning. And I think if you want to win, you rock with Jameis Winston. You're the better quarterback, the actual quarterback, not the walkie-talkie guy. I think with Jameis Winston, you get a guy who could throw it downfield. You know, you get something you haven't had in Drew Brees in a couple years, you know. Drew Brees kind of couldn't throw it downfield anymore. He was kind of just a dink and duck. With Jameis Winston, you get a guy who can throw it deep. And I know people talk about MT and his one route tree, but I think, you know, Jameis Winston could definitely unlock this offense and do some big things. You know, he has Alvin Kamara in the backfield. He has a top 5, top 10 receiver on his right side. So I think Jameis Winston should inevitably be the starter because he's more talented. And I think learning under Drew Brees definitely gave him that confidence. And, of course, like you said before, he was blind last year, so he got his eyes fixed. So now he can see more.
Blind?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't blind. He just had a laser eye surgery. Yeah, he's not blind, though.
I'm blind.
The way he played, you thought he was blind. So, yeah, I think, I think he can definitely improve and get better with this team. And the mature process, I think he's been through it. Sitting out, I think, kind of humbled him. So, I think, in my opinion, Winston will ball out, and I think he should start.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And the thing about it is that Jameis Winston, he chose to go to New Orleans and sit down for a year to learn the game of football under Drew Brees. 2019, he had 5,000 yards, 33 interceptions, but he also had 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So he went 30 for 30. The first time a player's done that since ESPN has made documentaries. So the thing about it is that Jameis Winston has a talent. It's just his decision making. And in 2018 and 2017, he had a 90-plus quarterback rating. He's been to one Pro Bowl. And I'm going to make a little bit of a comparison, right? Jameis Winston in 5 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a 28-42 record, 86.9 quarterback rating, one-time Pro Bowler, 61 completion percentage, 274 yards per game, 11 game-winning drives, and 4 fourth-quarter comebacks. Drew Brees, in 5 seasons with the San Diego Chargers, had an 84.9 quarterback rating, so Jameis was better. One-time Pro Bowler, same amount of Pro Bowls. 30-28 records, so Drew Brees won more. 62 completion percentage, so 1% better than Jameis Winston. 209 yards per game, so way less yards per game. 9 game-winning drives, less than Winston, and 5 fourth-quarter comebacks, 1 more than Winston. Jameis Winston is going to revive his career with the Saints. And not only is he going to revive it to a point where you think, oh, he's now a solid quarterback, he's going to go above and beyond that. He's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You can lock him in. You can pencil him in for a top 15 quarterback every single year. And he's going to turn around his career with the Saints. And the reason I say that is because they still have, I think, a top 3 receiver in the game in Michael Thomas. They still have one of the better running backs in the league in Alvin Kamara. And when you have Sean Payton calling plays, an offensive mastermind, there is just no way that I could see him failing. And they have a great offensive line. Like Jameis Winston, to me, Drew Brees has an accuracy. You know, he's for his career, most of the time, he's kind of been a check down guy because he doesn't have the strongest arm. Jameis Winston has a strong arm. They're going to open up the playbook. They're going to take more deep shots. And I just feel like I've been a Jameis believer since he left Tampa. Like I thought if Jameis stayed in Tampa Bay last year and they didn't get Tom Brady, he was going to lead them to the playoffs. Because I think every quarterback in the first year of Bruce Arians, they have a lot of turnovers. So I thought Jameis was going to be better his second year. But now that he's with the Saints, learning under Drew Brees, I can't see Jameis failing. And if I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong. But I believe in this 100%. Like, I believe in Jameis Winston.
I don't think you're wrong. I think you provided a very logical argument. You know, like you said, when you have him learning under one of the greatest quarterbacks to play and him being in an organization, you know, that's battle tested and him having weapons around him in a great offensive line. Like you said, when we look at it, how can you possibly fail? Like, it's designed for you to win. So I agree, man. I think the ball's in his court, literally. I think it's up to him to revive his career because, yeah, I know I'm not a big football dude, but even, you know, from what I used to hear about Jameis Winston early, just him getting in trouble off the court, all of that nonsense, not maturing, him not having the best years in Tampa Bay. So I haven't heard much about him. I didn't even know he was on the Saints. So hopefully, you know, I'm rooting for him. I mean, I think he's an electric guy. Watched him a little bit in college, but I like you said, I think, you know, him being with the Saints and him taking that year and humbling himself to learn the game from a potential GOAT for some. I think that's a dope move. So hopefully he can turn it around.
He has no room to fail, and I can't wait till you're wrong. I honestly, you know, Joel, you're my friend. But in debates, I like to see you wrong so I can literally pick on you and laugh about how you're wrong.
I'm not wrong much.
So you're on the opposite end.
No, I think I'm kind of on your fence type. Like, there's really legit no reason aside from injury. Like, he should fail. Like, it's like it's like set up perfectly for him to succeed. Like, everything is there for him. They have a good defense. They have a great O-line. They have a top 5 receiver in the A, top 5 running back in the A. They have a great head coach. What? Like, there's aside from, like, the only thing that can beat him is him. Honestly, it has to be a him thing. And I think with the team, the fact that he learned under Drew Brees, who's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, also benefits him. He has that knowledge behind him. He has that tool. He already has a year under the playbook, so there's not much they're just unlocking it at this point. Yeah. So I think, like, I believe he's gonna succeed, but if he doesn't, man, I think it's over for his career, honestly.
You think they're locked to make the playoffs?
The Saints?
Yeah.
The NFC is so crazy. I don't know. I got to look at everything in totality.
Yeah. I don't think they're a lock to make the playoffs only because I'm not sure about Michael Thomas's health. Okay. If he's healthy all year, I would say yeah. But last year he was in and out. He was really not healthy all year. Even in the playoffs, he wasn't healthy. And when you have Tampa Bay there, it's going to be hard to win the NFC South. And also Atlanta with Matt Ryan and Arthur Smith going there, they aren't going to be no slouch. Carolina, they still have Teddy.
They're not slouches though.
Yeah, they're not slouches either. It's going to be tough, but even then, I mean, the Saints without Brees, they've had a winning record with Teddy Bridgewater. He went 5-0, and I think Jameis is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. So.
I'll say this: the NFC West has 4 teams. Yeah, that's 4 right there. You got the Bucs, the Saints, Atlanta. You know they're still a tough game.
You said NFC West or South?
West.
You talking about the 49ers and Seahawks?
Yeah. I'm saying they got 4. I'm saying, like, in terms of playoffs, they got 4 teams. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. They're going to be in the hunt. I'm missing one. Oh, my God. Chicago, Green Bay. They're going to be in the hunt. Minnesota's going to be in the hunt. So it's so many teams that it's hard to, aside from Tampa Bay and Green Bay, I feel like, because, you know, they have Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Though there's so many teams that cannot make the playoffs just by 1 game, 2 game. I think it's hard to say a lock, especially getting a guy like James. Like, we knew what Drew Brees was going to bring every year. Yeah. We don't know like what Jameis Winston's going to bring, so it's kind of like an anomaly. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think everything is set in place for him to succeed.
No, I agree, and I think he is gonna. I know you want to see me wrong, but last year, I said Tampa Bay was gonna win the Super Bowl.
But you also wait, stop.
He trying to flex. He trying to flex.
He only says the one. You also said 1 year Oakland was going to make the playoffs and the Jets, and you were wrong twice.
Damn.
The Jets,
No.
I feel like you just threw the Jets in there. You probably just
okay. Well, the Raiders one was
the Jets is a fan pick.
Okay.
The Raiders.
I was gonna say that sounds
Raiders-
like a fan pick.
The Raiders for the last 2 years have went 6-4, so they were supposed to make the playoffs.
I don't want to hear it's supposed to. You were wrong.
No, but they just choked. I also
You were
said
wrong.
Ryan Tannehill was going to revive his career.
You did. You was right on that
one. Tennessee was going to make the playoffs. I also said that. I said
You did.
I'm right.
You said Tampa was
most
going
of the time
to win the division, though. You definitely said that.
No, I said Tampa was going to win.
You
the
was
division,
wrong. I was
most
right on that
definitely.
part.
No, Saints won the division, but even when Tampa lost the division, and even when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got blown out by the Saints, and everybody turned their backs on Tampa, I came on the show and I said that does not matter. I said it doesn't matter one bit. This does not scare me because the Saints are a regular season team.
Yeah.
And then they faced in the playoffs. The Bucks beat them, and Drew Brees had a horrible performance.
Yeah,
so,
he choked.
So in terms
It's
of
a bad way to go out.
I had the Bucks winning the Super Bowl since March last year. Like this time last year when they got Brady.
Yeah.
Like for a year straight, I had stayed strong on my pick.
That was the one few,
once.
but that was the one few thing you stuck on from start to finish. Like you usually jump in, you get more evidence. You like, nah, I got to jump off this train. I can't even stick with this one. That was the one you stuck with, so I give you that one.
Was it because of Brady that you had him as a lock?
Because of Brady. Only reason he stuck with it is because of Brady.
Because of Brady.
I give you
Brady, but also because their team is really great. So
I give you that though. You was right on that part. I give you that.
So I mean,
he's
telling
nice
you,
with his predictions. I can't.
Yeah,
lie.
football, he got it.
Yeah,
so
he got it.
I'm gonna say this. I do believe in Jameis Winston. From the comments that I've read about our Saints videos, it seems like Saints fans are split between Winston. He's the answer. He's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're completely sold on him, but I think this is going to be the year that he finally reaches that potential that we all thought he was going to reach coming out of college. I really believe in Jameis.
Who would they rather have though? Like when you talk about Saints fans, not being completely sold on him, who would they rather have?
Taysom Hill or drafting a quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
They love Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but
Boys.
this is going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side podcast. 2 hours and 50 minutes. So this was almost
that was 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, these episodes go by pretty quick. Not gonna lie.
Sheesh.
They go by pretty quick.
We wasn't in it for 2 hours and 50 minutes.
The NBA trade deadline topic took like 40 minutes. Just a
Didn't
little.
feel like it.
Not at all.
Yeah, it took 40
3
minutes.
hours,
just
bro.
alone.
Damn.
So yeah, we thank everybody that's listening or that's watching live on YouTube right now. Today we will not be taking in callers because we almost are hitting 3 hours and it's like 10:30 p.m. where we're at right now. So thank you guys for listening. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. And if you guys want to review us on Apple Podcasts, you guys can. We're going to read those reviews on the show and post it on our Instagram. And also, our guest, Reef Bailey. I know you know where it's at. Yes, I think it's the light blue one. Yep. So we're going to shout out our guest, Reef Bailey.
Thank you.
He has a podcast of his own that you can find on Apple and,
I was listening to that.
Apple and Spotify.
Appreciate it, bro.
It's called the Reef Bailey Podcast. So if you want to just plug yourself in real quick, you can.
Appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me. Honored to be here. I had a great time. Like Joel said, yes, you can find my podcast, the Reef Bailey Podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can follow me on socials, Sharif Bailey _ Sharif spelled SHARIF. And just show love. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for having me. Like I said, I'm a fan. I love what you guys are doing here. Keep it up. And I'm just glad to be here. It's been fun and I learned a lot from you guys. So thanks again.
So yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.